Oh, like now? Right this minute? Right this second? Right this...
Ruckus and this big, tall, dark Negro here. What's your name, man?
My name is Shelton Benjamin, the gold standard.
The gold standard, you the black standard, the black standard. That's for damn sure. Gold is for white folks. Gold and platinum is for white folks. You just the black.
Get silver?
You like the damn charcoal standard. Is what I'm saying. Now you one of them professional wrestlers.
I am one of those professional wrestlers.
How come Negro so violent? Why y'all got to just be out wrestling, fighting, hitting people in the face?
But the white people are violent as well.
No. White folks are all about peace.
Man, I've been
people
punched by white people.
No,
I've
sir.
been kicked by white
no,
people.
No, sir.
You know, a brother never hurt me.
That is not true. Look at this white man's gentle hands. Look at that gentle
Are you
hands.
sure he's white?
Hold on, let me look at him. Oh, shit. I was enjoying the white part of him, but clearly he a mixed breed. now, let me ask you this.
What the fuck was that?
It's Shelton Benjamin meeting Uncle Ruckus, of course.
Oh shit, that was fucking hilarious. Just almost as funny as the Vince McMahon intro. That was fucking awesome too. So, folks, how are Thursday night has arrived, which means this is Wrestling Outlet, which means I am Boxman, and across from me is that sexy man. Yes, go for it.
The voice of generation, Smark Wahlberg. How are you?
I'm good, man. You faring all right with the weather out there?
Yeah, it's just been raining like a motherfucker. I guess the worst of it's supposed to come in after midnight or so. It's supposed to be some high winds. Nothing too crazy. Nothing like what some of the people in like Florida, I guess, are going through, because we're getting the remnants of the hurricane. But right now the hurricane is rummaging through Florida, from what I understand.
Yeah, actually, I got a news thing that has been updated to a category 4. So there's only one more category left before it's fucking horrible. So
I do wonder how it is that they go about deciding that kind of stuff, because it's the same thing for tornadoes. There's 5 is the top. It's 1 to 5.
Yeah. Cat 4 Hurricane Helene bringing unsurvivable surge, 140 mile per hour winds to Florida. Holy shit, man. I remember going through these, man, all the time. I do. I remember going through them. You start drinking early. You have to stock up on beer, because sometimes they stop alcohol sales. So you stock up, get you some ice. And the worst thing about it used to be the gas lines. People are literally in line at 2 a.m. waiting for gas. I'm dead serious. Gas lines from miles. Oh, yeah. So I made sure I always filled up. As soon as I heard a storm was coming, I kept my tank above 3/4.
Understandable. Yeah, I mean, nowadays, after we've been through the whole pandemic thing, the idea of people hoarding supplies isn't at all unbelievable, or the idea that there's going to be a lot of people trying to get one thing and one thing might be out. It's not at all hard sell, not hard to understand. Let me try that again, this time in English. Not at all hard to understand.
No.
Around here, anytime it snows, and literally only an inch, if even, it typically snows here. All the bread's gone, all the milk's gone. Typically alcohol too,
Yeah, I mean, like you said, during COVID, it was horrible here. You walked in the fucking grocery stores, there was nothing. It was oh my God, people.
Toilet paper, hand sanitizer.
Milk. My wife couldn't find milk for we had to go to gas stations to buy milk for our kid.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking taking milk. That's how my middle kid started drinking chocolate milk. There was chocolate milk because he was like, ew. He thought it was dirty milk. My daughter thought it was poopy milk until she tried it. She said, no, that's poopy milk. It's poopy color. No, it's chocolate. No, that poopy milk. But 3 or 4 days ago, I think she tried it at school. She's been very, I want to try this, I want to try that since she started going to school, So meanwhile, all my kids are home. COVID is running rampant around this little fucking small town here. It's been crazy around here, man. COVID is going nuts around this little fucking town. So, and I haven't seen one mask. Not one.
Not even the Jim Carrey?
No, nothing. Haven't seen anybody wearing a mask. Nothing. Not around her, man. Not out here in the sticks. So, but anyway, folks, obviously we have a lot to get into, and yes, the answer is yes. We have both watched all 6 episodes of the Vince McMahon documentary. I stayed up late to watch it last night. Oh, I wasn't doing anything wrong. I just stayed up late.
Okay. No, you said Vince McMahon. I understand.
Yeah, we will definitely get into that more in depth a little later in the show. But a lot of people complaining, oh, we knew all this. Just want to say one quick thing. To us fans, yes. To the other millions and millions and millions of people who don't give a shit about wrestling that actually want to watch that, this is all new. This is all new to them. This documentary wasn't for us, smart fans. It wasn't for the smarks, not you personally, Smart, but that's not who it was for. That's not who they made this documentary for, because everybody's saying the same thing. I already knew all this. I knew everything.
Well, I mean, I was listening to an interview, or not an interview, like an excerpt from Bill Simmons. He's the guy who did the documentary. Not the director, but, it's his production company or whatever. And he was saying specifically the idea, the goal was to make something that wasn't really for the wrestling fans per se, because he said, in his words, no, if you try to make it for the wrestling fans, they're probably still going to dislike it anyway. So the idea was to just go ahead and make one for somebody who might not have been as familiar with it. And what he was saying basically was the idea of okay, you've heard this all before, but it's all precisely laid out, and it's sort of all in order, and it's just sort of kind of neatly wrapped in a bow. Because okay, we were talking about it before, we're going to talk about it a little bit more later, but I said that I heard most of everything that had already happened, and I'm sure that you probably did too, but the way that it was done was really well done. You might have already been familiar with the subject matter, but the presentation of it is interesting, and who they bring on to interview about it is important too. And I can't imagine that there's really too much of anybody that was on the documentary or that wasn't on that you would have liked to have heard from. I feel like they pretty much got everybody, exception of I don't think Roman was on there, but then could Roman contribute really to that? It was a lot of that stuff happened before he was there.
I'll tell you, with Undertaker there, I was, and for the Attitude episode, I was kind of expecting to see Mick Foley pop up on the episode, but no, don't remember seeing him.
I was too busy sending thank you cards and fruit baskets.
Well, someone's got to do it. Whatever. But anyway, we will get into all that a little bit later. We don't have much news to get into, but we'll talk a little bit of news, talk a little bit of Dynamite, and then we'll get into all 6 episodes of the Vince McMahon documentary. That should be fun. But not a ton of news really this week. We don't have a ton of holy shit, we're going to be here forever stories. But this is one story I think we all saw coming. Folks, Ric Flair has finally split from wife number 5. Yeah, that's right. We all found out on Instagram. He said, Wendy and I enjoyed 13 great years. As with every couple, we experienced our ups and downs. I think it's important for everyone to know right now that we have decided to part ways respectfully. This statement read, "I'll never be able to thank her enough for standing by my side through my terrible health and crisis in 2017. She never left my side. And for that, I will always be grateful. We are working on different projects at the current time, and it becomes difficult with my schedule and her schedule to make this work. I wish her the best of luck in all her projects, and I know she supports mine." He should have just said, "Do well in all your future endeavors." Wish you the best of luck in all your future endeavors. I think that's what he was trying to say there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, they got married in 2018. So, yeah. Wife number 5, Wendy Barlow is gone. No longer Ric Flair's wife. So, folks, that's right, ladies, lock up your daughters. Ric Flair is single again.
If you want what little gold is left, get the shovels out. Start your digging.
Oh, the space fucking mountain is open again, folks. Just know the ride's a little older. It squeaks. It's got kinks.
I mean, it sure does have kinks. If you play your cards right, you might be able to be the heir or heiress of a disgusting mushroom energy drink fucking fortune.
Oh, he says that's going to be with the biggest energy drink in 2 years. There's actually a little video here I could play if you want to share the screen. He's on Fox. He's with Jesse Waters and talking about how he stays out of politics.
So you decided to do this on Fox? Yeah, you can go ahead and play it. I'll share the screen as soon as I see it.
2 minutes and 41 seconds. I'm sure we'll might not get in trouble for this. It's Fox. They'll love it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, my God, someone's sharing our show. All right, here we go. Hopefully you can hear it. Let me know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not yet.
And the Nature Boy himself, Ric Flair, joins us now. All right, Nature Boy. They're saying Joe Biden needs to show he has what it takes if he wants to win re-election. Any advice?
No, but I totally agree. We need someone strong that'll just say, hey, kiss my ass. I run the United States, and we stand tall.
Are you announcing that you're running for president right now?
No, but I should have run for governor in 2001. But you know what they told me? I had too many skeletons in the closet.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah, we can, Rick.
Yes.
If I ran for president now, I'd make Trump look like a baby.
That's hard to do. Oh, boy.
No, but I mean, I'll be 75 weekend.
Awkward conversation.
Adam Wilkes.
Why does he sound like he's trying to wrap up a conversation with his grandparents on the phone?
Yeah, so you'll see he kind of wraps it up pretty quick at the end there.
Just doing phenomenally. Energy will be, I think, potentially the largest selling energy drink in the next 2 years.
See?
I'm just blessed today, and my friends like Vo that I work with, and I stay out of the politics, but you really can't go anywhere. My saying has always been, I'm not going to discuss politics or women in a bar. You know what I mean? I'll talk sports, but I'm not going to get into an argument. Politics or religion. I'm sorry, not women.
Oh.
I love talking about women.
How do you deal with the haters?
His skeleton, a brand of liquor.
I ignore them. When I was actively wrestling, I thought, boy, when I want to, the better you are, the more haters you're going to have.
Ric Flair, the Nature Boy. Great having you on Jesse Waters Primetime, my man.
Hey, Jesse Waters, you are the man. You are the limousine riding, private jet flying, kid stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun that I'm sure every day of your life you have a hard time, holding them alligators down. Rolex
That's a new
wearing,
one.
diamond ring, token, styling and profiling, nature boy, Jesse Waters. Woo!
Woo to you too. And I'm Waters, and this is my world. Thanks, Ric Flair. You're the best.
So
His catchphrase isn't as good.
no, man, Flair's. What do you call that?
The haters, aka alcohol rehab counselors.
Yeah, he is slow. I mean, I know his speech has gotten worse. I don't know if he's got bad dentures or what, but his speaking, I mean, he sounds like Jack Swagger.
Kind of like it. I kind of like the line of questioning in the interview, or just like Rick, as also a fellow person that is incredibly old and may or may not have dementia. What do you think about Joe Biden? Like, why are you going to do that to that man?
Nothing. I've got nothing to say to him. He wouldn't remember anyway.
God bless him. He did basically toe the line. I'm surprised that he did. I was sure that we were about to get like a Hogan-esque, like 30-minute diatribe that went kind of nowhere.
No, like I said, like he said, he doesn't really. I've honestly never really. I don't think I've ever really heard Flair dive into politics at all. Really, I don't think he ever really talks about it. Hogan, Rock was once at the Republican National Convention too.
Yeah,
Just
it's
like
part of the Vince McMahon documentary.
Yeah, they showed that there. So yeah, you're right, they did. But yeah, so yeah, Flair now has a full handful of divorces. He can now make a fist with his divorces. That many divorces. 5.
Five times.
Yes, him and Booker
If
T.
Flair doing the spinneroonie.
Him and Booker T should hang out. That would probably go great.
I like that. I like the idea of Flair getting on the floor to do the spinneroonie, Conrad grabbing his legs and walking in a circle, but just that alone, the going in a circle is enough to just have him pouring sweat.
It probably would be. But hey, speaking of pouring sweat, I know everyone's been sweating about when these WrestleMania 41 tickets go on sale. Don't worry. Friday, October 25th, everybody. Calm down, okay?
That seems kind of early, but whatever. I mean, that's their prerogative.
Yeah, they usually put these tickets on sale pretty early for Mania. Get them out there. They have a good idea who's going to, I mean, they haven't even announced a match yet. Tickets will sell well before the show even announces a match. So, not going to be a problem, but yeah, there you go. So if you want to get those tickets October 25th, just go to WWE.com. And actually you can pre-register now for tickets if you want to. Go to WWE.com for that too.
Sounds good.
So got two little stories here we'll get into real fast. This isn't a horrible one, but Smark, there's a AEW star launching a new promotion on his own. This was announced on social media. Dustin Rhodes has confirmed that he's going to launch his own promotion called the Rhodes Wrestling Association, so RWA. November 21st will actually be the first show they're going to do. It's going to be the Texas Fall Fury, taking place at the RWA Bullpen in Leander, Texas. I believe that's somewhere down Austin area. Leander, I think that's where it is. But he wrote on social media, finally, at Rhodes Wrestling is launching. Stay tuned in the coming weeks for all info soon. November 21st, Thursday. Why does this say Thursday and this up here say Friday? No. It's Thursday. I flash back to the other story. November 21st, Thursday at 6 p.m. Central. That's RWA's Bullpen in Leander, Texas. Let's make the first one special. I will be doing a VIP meet and greet at 5 p.m. Central. So this brings into question where his AEW contract is expiring at the end of this month. What he's going to do? Maybe he's just going to go do his own thing.
I mean, he's not really. They're not really asking that much of him. I could see where he would resign and just sort of still run the little independent promotion. I didn't mean to be so condescending with that. A little independent promotion. It's a little fucking rinky dink backyard fed that he's trying to go around with. He'll still have plenty of time. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. Like, you could still do your own little business. Can't stop saying that. You could still do your business and like be a part of AEW too. Like Thunder Rose is a part of a promotion. I think she owns it. I'm not positive that does like women's wrestling in Texas, and she still is on TV sometimes.
She owns that. I think it's a Revolution something. I forget the name of it, but she does own it. She does own that promotion. Yeah, she does. And yeah, I mean, but yeah, look how much they're using her. But I guess she's having some CTE issues right now. I guess that's what's going on with her right now. So, I don't know, but I guess we'll see. I mean, maybe he'll resign. Maybe he'll just wants to go do his own thing and travel around a little bit and just do his own little thing as a little business, as Smark keeps saying. Your own little big O-Haul company.
His little lemonade stand that he's got in the middle of Texas.
Yeah, your own little fucking lemonade stand.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised though if he kind of just hung out for a minute, because I'm sure WWE probably wants to bring him in just because of his association with Cody. Just fucking, I wouldn't surprise me if they threw money at him just so that he could be a part of all that's going on with him.
I don't know, man. He's up there in age, and I think he kind of likes AEW. I think he likes the freedom he has there.
Yeah, could be. Who knows?
I mean, at his age, I don't think he wants to go back in and work that WWE schedule. I don't see why he would. I wouldn't. I mean, I know you're not saying he has to go back and work a full schedule. That's not what you're saying, but I just don't know if he would want to do that. I think he kind of wants to. What's going on, Nora? I think he just kind of wants to live his own life. I mean, how old is Dustin Rhodes now?
It's got to be pushing 60, I believe. It's probably about 58.
Age, we are looking at a 55-year-old man, bro.
I threw in a couple extra years on him. My bad.
Yeah, 55-year-old man. I don't know, man. If I was 55 and had been doing it as long as him and probably had the career he did, I would just want to fucking go around and do my own thing and not have anybody tell me what to do anymore. If I had the means, which I really don't know if he does or doesn't. Doesn't seem like I would think with his father, he was told to save his fucking money.
Yeah, you would think so. But but also, I mean, he's had battles with like addiction and shit. So these drug addiction tends to not be the most frugal of endeavors, hobbies that you could get yourself into.
Very true. Very true. That can have a little issue, but that was also a while ago. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know his financial situation, but I'm going to assume he's doing okay.
And he's on Life 3, according to Wikipedia. So he's following the Flair path.
Hey, 2 more and they'll be like Eskimo brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Almost.
It may already be. Who knows?
Yeah, you don't know with wrestling, with some of the shit we've heard the past few days. But yeah. So there you go. I don't know what Dustin's going to do, but I can probably see him, like I said, just kind of strolling around and doing his own little thing.
Could be.
Yeah. So anyway, folks, this is the one that we're going to actually kind of get into a little bit here. Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam has announced a thing called OnlyWrestlers. Yeah, you heard me right. OnlyWrestlers. Yep, you heard me right. He announced it on YouTube. This takes him a while to get through. I don't know if we want to play all this.
You could summarize it, I guess.
Well, basically, it's just like one YouTube comment subscriber said. It's like Patreon and OnlyFans for subscriptions. That's really kind of what it is. It's kind of where wrestlers can go on and post everything about what they're doing is what it kind of is. Here, let's take a peek here. Give me a second. I will share screen.
So you're saying he's going to be posting pictures of his feet? So.
Oh, when you look at this, there you go. You can share that real quick. Okay, you see what this is here? We got this going on. So we're going to scroll down a little bit here.
Immediate question: who is the motherfucker in the middle?
I don't know. And the picture, I believe, changed.
Yeah, probably. Because you had his wife to the left or whatever, Katie Forbes. You had him in the right. Then there's just a random ass. I guess that's probably like his Conrad or something.
Yeah, exactly. So, I guess this is like a minute feed, a minute little video here announcing this. Oh, you have to be logged in to even watch the video. Okay. So OnlyWrestlers.com, folks. It's bridging the gap between pro wrestling and the passionate fans. So what you could do is you can go on here right now. He's got a few people already on here, but there you go with Katie and him right there. And once you click, what's wrong, Smark?
I'm just laughing at the sort of euphemism that they have is bridging the gap between pro wrestlers and passionate fans. It's like it sounds a lot better than just like hitting the marks up for money.
Yeah, it kind of does. But so here we go. Let's find our favorite wrestlers. What do you say?
Sure.
I think we had actually already done that. We did.
I think it's a good sign that out of 4 of them, I can identify 2, maybe 3.
Yep.
I think SoCal Val over there, the redhead. I don't know who the lady in the brunette is, but
that is who? This one?
The one that's not the redhead. Yes, the female. That's maybe Kylie Ray. I can't tell. I can't see that.
Jamie. Oh, can you not read the names?
No, I can't read the names at all. It's just I'm still seeing the click here to find your favorite wrestlers.
Oh, wait a minute. I know why. Hold on. I know why. Hold on. Let me refresh. See what happens.
He's gone. Now it's just me. Which means it is time to hit the fucking button. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Everybody stand still. Hold on. Wait a minute. Here it is.
It's another one. No, feel the air, buries everything. Time to be scared. You better be aware. It's a nightmare. You better run away if you just can't stay.
Okay, I refreshed the wrong page, but anyway, that should work now.
That's what happens when you leave. Anyways. Okay.
Well, find your favorite wrestlers. All right, you got that? Here we go. Okay. You see what happens is it opens to a new page. So what I'm going to have to do is stop sharing this page and then go back and share this page. That's what the problem is.
Yes. In the meantime, we are doing well. I'm doing well. I think Box is doing well. Box, how you doing?
Oh, great. Appreciate that. I am.
Doing good. Hope you're doing well as BC Nora.
All right, is that
okay?
better?
So we have, yes.
We have,
of course, we have Mountain Mama.
Mountain Mama. I mean, everybody knows Mountain Mama, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, of course. Mr. Grim Reaper. We have Izzy James. I guess the Cooper star ratings. I don't know who that even is, but this is Conspiracy Smoke Show. I don't even know who she is.
A who's who of who's that?
I don't even know who she is. This is Jamie Lynn Senegal. I've never heard of her, but very good looking. Justin Valencia and Dominic D'Angelo of, I'm assuming, Dirt Sheet Radio.
No, I think it's Deuce. I think we used to do a show with this guy.
Dirt Sheet Writer, not Dirt Sheet Radio. Okay, there we go. So you can get a monthly subscription to him, and he'll post all his data here, his videos on demand, his merch. Well, you can yearly for $200. So you get a 2-month break with the yearly subscription, but for $20 a month, you can follow him and him only and get his live streams, his merchandise, gallery, all this stuff. So there you go. There you go.
What a mark.
We've got Riley Madison. Riley looking good. I can see where this page is going. Lucky Leone, Gabby Tuft, former Tyler Rex.
Okay, it's
Don't
somebody
know.
at least.
Somebody we know at least, yes. Wow, my dogs just went fucking crazy. Facade. I've heard. We've seen Facade.
Yep, I've heard of him. Yes,
Facade.
I think we're up to 2
Danny.
people we know, and we're on page 2, so that's always a good sign.
Yep. Danny Moe. Oh, free subscription. I really wish someone would tell the dogs to shut up. Oh, my daughter screamed. That worked. Okay, let's go to this free subscription real quick. I don't think any of them have any. Yikes. Nice thighs. Have mercy. The Italian Knockout. Oh, she's a LFC fighter, lingerie fighting, whatever, championships fighter. 14-0.
Undefeated.
Undefeated, 14-0. Cruel fighter and so sexy. Nice. Wish we could expand that picture a little bit, but we cannot. Okay, back we go again. Crap, we went back to page 1. Oh, there's John Morrison down there. Sarah the Rebel, I've heard of her. Cheerleader Melissa, heard of her. Haven't heard of any 3 of these people here. The Grappler, none of them. Amazing Maria, never heard of her. There's, like I said, John Morrison. The Woad.
Yeah, who doesn't love the Woad?
Whoa. Hollywood Haley J. That's not Haley Cameron, is it?
No.
I don't
You're
think
thinking
so.
of Harley Cameron. That's the AEW.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Brian Cage, there you go.
Brian Cage being on here is so fucking funny.
Cage. Hey, look at Scotty Riggs over here.
Motherfucker, you have a real job. Get off this website. But you are actually gainfully employed. I mean, yes, he's on probably a Ring of Honor at this point, but what the fuck is Brian Cage doing on here?
I don't know. Scotty Riggs, Sabu is on here.
Sabu being on here is the least surprising thing in the world. Greg Valentine.
Greg the Hammer Valentine. Lady Blossom. Lady Tappa. I remember her. Wow, do I remember her? TNA, right?
In so much as I remember the fact that she existed, I don't remember anything that she's done, anyone that she's wrestled, any of her feuds, promos, storylines, any of it. I know that she was a thing.
No, I don't either. Now, I do know that the next one here, Renee Michelle, was married to the little guy, Spud.
Oh, yeah, Rockstar Spud. Okay.
Rockstar Spud, that's who she's married to. Katie Forbes, of course, RVD, Melissa Santos. Never heard of her. She looks like Nikki Glazer.
A little bit, man.
Ashley Damn Boys. And all right, this is the last page. Here we go. We've got Tessa Blanchard. She needs to make money. She needs to make some money.
Boy.
Well, Madison. That looks like it might have been Billy Madison at one time. Charlie Haas, Jordan Blue, and these 2 here. So there you go. That's who's on this site, folks. So hey, if you want to go spend some money,
the Charlie Haas profile picture is fucking wild.
Yeah, you go. Yeah, give me a sec. I was looking up. So see what you could do here. I guess this is kind of like a lot of the social media all in one, wrapped into one. You can send a tip, you can direct message, share the profile. So really, you pay. Oh wow, she's charging $250
for only 20 cents a day. You too can ensure that Greg Valentine doesn't go home.
Yeah, so there you go for her. But yeah, you were looking at the Charlie Haas one. Let me go back to that. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a very
all the way back down and hit this page.
4.
There we go. He looks good compared to this picture when he was in pretty rough shape or coming out of rough shape. Looks much better.
Just the idea that just the photo, like it looks like for some reason he photoshopped a picture of him on the beach. It's just very strange.
Well, you know that green screen thing. Wow, this is kind of
The official home of Charlie Haas. Well, thank God we could finally stay in touch with Charlie Haas.
I gotta say, this shit's kind of expensive, dude.
This shit is the biggest scam. They're I am almost certain this music is copyrighted.
Okay, this is a minute and a half. I'm not doing the whole thing.
This
way to Goth Girl Hooters. I like that.
You still like that? Boss?
Oh. No.
Hold on a second. You know what's coming. Brace for impact.
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.
I'll tell you. Okay. A little lucky. We scroll down first. Nope, no bio yet. Let's just back off that one.
Look, we didn't know at the time. Okay, what's up, Scott?
It's fine. Okay, another video. You're right. Those songs are going to kill us.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, they're all about the same cost. About that $20.
Yeah.
200 for each.
They don't even say what they're offering. Like, do you get to like talk to them? Do you get photos? Do you get?
Oh, you can message.
Okay, I understand the idea that it's basically like Patreon. They just keep you up to date with like their products. And
right.
Maybe they'll put out a video or something of them at the fucking grocery store. This seems like,
well, the premise is they're going to.
This seems like a bigger scam than like Cameo, because Cameo, you at least like fucking they'll say happy birthday to your cat or some shit.
The thing is, they're supposed to be putting like only pictures, like these aren't for like public, these are only on here, so you'd have to pay to get them, like Patreon. That's the Patreon part of it.
So
there's videos, and I mean there was so many things on here. There was, like I said, you could do you can just watch their feed. I'm sure this is like a little almost like Facebook thing. They'll post things on there. You can watch videos, video on demand, pictures, and they can sell their merch. And everyone's got a fucking podcast now, and they can probably live stream right on here. I'm assuming. Yeah, they put up their live streams right here. So I don't know, man. This is Rob Van Dam doing his thing, coming up with the crazy stuff.
I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there in case he's listening. Greg Valentine, if you need a Conrad, come talk to me. I'll be your Conrad. Charlie Haas, I'll be your Conrad. Now, when your brother died, how did you feel about that? Was that rumor an innuendo? Was he actually dead? Like, what happened with that?
Yes, he actually did.
Your brother was dead, more dead than the WCW 2000 audience, right? All right, so anyways, we're going to sell Blue Chew here in a minute.
That might get him back up.
Fellas, if you're as big as me, Conrad Thompson, you're going to need about just a Costco amount of Blue Chew just to get it up one time.
One time.
Also, while you're doing it, while you take the Blue Chew, you get your little pecker up. You're in a room by yourself. It's dark. It smells like Doritos, pizza rolls.
Doritos.
You're going to want to do in order to finish the sinful act, the premarital sex with yourself that you're doing. You're going to need some of Ric Flair's nasty mushroom energy drink that is taking the world by storm. Go ahead and buy you some of that too.
I think if I saw it for sale, I would still buy a can and try it. Even though I hate mushrooms, I probably would still try it. More than
I can't do mushrooms.
I mean, I would assume it didn't taste like mushrooms. It's just mushroom. I mean, do you like Worcestershire sauce?
Yes.
Okay. Do you like anchovies?
No.
Do you like Caesar salad dressing?
I'm not tossing anyone's salad box.
No. No.
I will not eat Ric Flair's butt.
It's Caesar salad dressing.
I'm not going to do it while wearing sandals. I see the angle that you're getting.
All right. Well, both of those have anchovies in it. Is my fucking point.
I'm good. I don't want it.
But
Like I am the person who wants. Like I've tried so much ridiculous shit. I tried the Roddy Piper drink, the bubblegum soda. It's actually pretty good. Ron Jeremy had a rum once before he got into a lot of trouble for doing like similar things to like Vince. We're going to talk about that. I had the Ron Jeremy rum. That was all right. Like I've tried a lot of these fucking weird officially licensed products, and they're usually not bad. I'm not doing fucking mushroom flavored energy drinks. It's not happening.
No, I see. That's the thing. They're not mushroom flavored.
They're gonna be mushroom. I mean, they're flavored as something else, but the fact that I know mushrooms are in there make them mushroom flavored to me. That's all I'm gonna be able to taste. I think.
Listen, if you knew it was in a Four Loko, you probably wouldn't drink it either. But I mean,
yeah, that's actually a good point. Cheese is saying Caesar salad dressing has anchovies in it. I thought he was saying the Caesar salad doesn't have anchovies in it. So what are you talking about? But yeah, no, he's corroborating your story.
Yes, Caesar dressing has anchovies in it, as does Worcestershire sauce. I did not know that until I was looking for an alternative, because now I still love fucking Worcestershire sauce.
Mm-hmm.
That's just good. But all right, here let's check it out, Smart. Check it out.
Just as a quick aside, do you think I really know that much about fucking salad or salad?
Was she a great big fat person?
Just saying is all.
You've been working hard.
We'll
you're looking fucking good. Don't even deny it.
I eat salad from time to time, but I actually don't. I'm going to make a confession that people are going to think I'm a serial killer for, hence the Buffalo Bill drop. Salad and cereal, dry. I don't use salad dressing. I don't use milk. Just fucking eat the salad like a fucking psychopath. Because there's actually a fuck ton, no matter what you use, unless you use like the very light ones, fuck ton of calories in salad dressing. Ranch, honey mustard, whatever it is, Italian, all of them.
Well, you can make a very, very easy Italian dressing on your own. I don't buy dressing anymore. I found two recipes that I kind of mix together that I make Italian dressing out of, and I made it the other night, and my kid fucking loved it. And my kid is like a snob when it comes to Italian dressing. Because I don't put the Worcestershire. I don't like. That's one thing I don't like in my salad. My Italian dressing is the Worcestershire sauce. I don't put that in there. Oh my God, Conan has stopped doing live streams, folks. Breaking news from NORAD. Conan has stopped doing live streams, folks. He earned less than $100 from the last one. Husey was on it. Well, blame Hugsy, Husey. Who'sy? What's he?
My favorite part about that sentence is, quote, in real breaking news.
Absolutely.
As opposed to all this other, like, unimportant bullshit that's going on. Conan.
Well, I mean, we are sitting here talking about fucking anchovies and Caesar salad dressing, but fine, Hugsy. Jesus Christ, when is he going to stop with the Hugsy?
I do laugh because, like, I haven't actually really watched any of that Keeping It 100, but, like, all of the Keeping It 100 YouTube videos that get recommended to me is always, like, the real reason why this happened. It's like, it just sounds like conspiracy theory, or it's like Conan's actually going to tell you the truth.
Oh, everyone's a conspiracy theorist now. It don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, both sides are conspiracy theorists. I don't know if you figured that out yet, but yeah, both sides are now on everything conspiracy theorists. Here you go, Smark. Let's check out these fucking woo energy mushrooms. Exactly.
Oh, there it is. Okay. I thought that was still on there from the last thing. My bad.
Let's try these. Look at this. Look at this. Come on. Pineapple berry, strawberry banana.
Okay, that's a little better.
Dragon fruit. I actually when I buy the Red Bull, I usually get the little 8-ounce can of the green, the dragon fruit one. It's the best one in my opinion. I don't get them much, but look, for $40, Mark, we can get a sampler.
Ooh, very good.
I can send you some. Oh, we can get a wheeling and dealing hat. Do they only come in pink? Do they only come with the pink?
Ric Flair only comes in pink.
Oh, well, look, you can get the everyone's going to think you're wearing a Trump hat if you wear that one. Well, you can get it in all different colors. White, blue, white, pink. My daughter would love that one. I like that one. I don't like that one. I like that one. My daughter would love it. Oh, this one. This is what you wear hunting.
See, I'm going to go ahead. If you
All right. What other merch do they have on here? I have to know.
While you do that, I'm going to go ahead and look up the caffeine content of these energy drinks.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. That's all the merch they have. Yeah. You don't think they have that right here on the site?
Oh, no, I'm sure they do. I was just going to look at it on my own instead of forcing you to do it.
Yeah. Why don't you do that?
Find it out for me.
It doesn't look like they have it. Now they call it natural energy, boost, focus.
Bullshit. It's natural energy. I think when it comes to energy drinks, we were talking about, you got the, you said the kiwi one, the Monster?
No, the dragon fruit.
Dragon fruit. Okay, yeah. I don't know why I was thinking kiwi. I like the Ghost. I like the they have the Sour Patch Kids blue raspberry Ghost. That's a good one. They have the Ghost cherry limeade. That's also a really good one. I like the Rain ones. I like the Rain ones because the Rain ones have 300 milligrams of caffeine. The other ones usually have like 200. Like the Ghost are like 200. A lot of the other ones are 200 too. So it's like they give you a fucking additional 100 milligrams of caffeine. You're gonna need that shit to get you.
Oh yeah, just what I need. My heart to fucking flutter.
I don't know if we talked about this like on the air, but sometimes when I go to the gym, I like to have like the pre-workout. It's like I get the pre-workout and the energy drink at the same time. So I'm doing upwards of like 600, 650 milligrams of caffeine. And I know that could not at all be healthy, but it gets you through.
No, your heart is probably hurting.
Oh, for sure.
For sure. I like I've said before, me and my body and caffeine have never got along. That's why I've never been a big soda guy. So I don't do much caffeine. I mean, like I've said this on the show many times. If I get one of those 5-hour energies, a little baby capful will keep me jacked up for 5 hours.
Okay, yeah. So this is 150 milligrams. All of them 150 milligrams of caffeine. This is light shit.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, it's kind of a ripoff because it's 30 calories for 150 caffeine. Usually most of the other ones are like 15 to 10 to 5, or some of them are 0. And usually almost all of them give you more milligrams of caffeine. So they're giving you less caffeine for more calories, and also there's mushrooms in it. This sounds terrible.
All right.
And of course, they have fucking can't know what I could get.
I wasn't going to say it.
They have faggot. No, still not happening. Take 3. Faggot truth. There we go.
Yeah. All right. I wasn't.
Which, of course, is just Ric Flair's trying to say it with his speech impediment. It's not an actual. There's nothing else you could read into it other than that. That's just Ric Flair trying to say it.
It's usually me that slips the words out here, Smark. It's usually me. Thank you.
That's a fun thing.
So after our woo energy conversation here, folks, Hugsy is mad that he could not get Oasis tickets in Ireland. If someone, I would be more upset if someone offered me Oasis tickets. I'd probably punch them.
I'm so glad that we have a natural backdoor into this conversation, because I've been meaning to say this for ever since I found out that they were coming back. They're the fucking worst goddamn band in the history. They're the most over fucking rated. Oh my god, it's terrible. I don't know why everybody is like so excited for them. Like, there is plenty of artists that they're not for me, but I understand how they can be unpopular. Like, Oasis is just like, it's 2 douchebags singing a bunch of like fucking lyrics that like a fucking high school freshman could think of. Like, it's not hard. There's nothing deep to it, and they fucking act like pompous assholes the entire time. So it's like, I do not see the appeal whatsoever.
No, I don't either. Man. But I never liked it. I thought that's what was that big hit there, the Wonder Wall, or what was that it?
Mm-hmm. Today is gonna be the day to throw it all back to you.
Okay,
you're fucking
You're not Paul McCartney. Go suck a dick. You're not John Lennon's reincarnation. Go suck 2 dicks. Good God, fucking Yoko. Yoko, find this fucking guy. Ruin his fucking career. Good God, where's that guy that killed Lennon? What's he doing right now?
I think time is what he's doing right now.
Oh, right.
But yeah, I mean, they fucking suck. And it's not even that they are British exactly, because there's plenty of good like British musicians, because you have Ozzy Osbourne, you have Judas Priest, you
I concealed was expired, and it's not anymore. I got a new one today, so I can carry my gun again. Just thought I'd everybody out there.
Fair enough.
It was a whole month and a half that I couldn't carry. I forgot to renew my license. Now you can constitutional carry in Texas. It's not a big deal, but yeah.
I genuinely, unironically, would rather see that fucking crappy British kid perform live than watch Oasis. Just because I would be the only one there. I'd just be sitting there in a lawn chair just laughing hysterically, and like his family would not understand why. I would probably get arrested because they would get the wrong idea. But I would have the time of my life until then.
Yeah, and it's got nothing to do with British. Like you said, there's a ton of awesome, dude, the British invasion back in the 60s and 70s was fucking amazing. Fucking Def Leppard, British. And badass. Fucking, there's tons of bands out there that are from overseas that are awesome. AC/DC, overseas. What are they, Irish or fucking something?
Australian.
Whatever. Like I said, overseas. Fucking whatever.
It had nothing to do with the fact that they're British. I just wanted, I saw an easy segue into playing the British kid, so I took it.
All I know is Oasis is just 2 guys whining about bullshit when they're fucking on stage. No one cares. I get it. Listen, people make fun of Nickelback, but you go back to the fucking 2000s, and guess who probably made the most fucking money of any music artist? Fucking Nickelback. I don't like their fucking music either. They have a couple good songs that I actually enjoy, but otherwise,
look at this photograph. It's a picture of a child's ass.
really got to watch what I say, I guess. They're just, I mean, but they made a fuck ton of money. Look, all these bands here, Nora, I was mentioning, Saliva. Come on, I kind of like that Click Click Boom and that Disease song. Puddle of Mud, I actually like two of their songs too. Skillet, I'm not a big fan of Skillet. I got hit with one once, didn't feel good. Don't like Skillet very much.
I'm trying to remember what their song was.
Which one?
The Skillet. I know the other ones.
Oh, yeah, Puddle of Mud, that She Fucking Hates Me. Actually, I had two of their songs, She Fucking Hates Me, and what was that, Control. They got a couple good songs. Saliva had a couple good ones, too. Come on, man. Some of those bands back in the 2000s, they got that right spot. I mean, look at Disturbed. They're still out there fucking touring today and selling out fucking arenas still.
Okay, Monster, their song Monster, I don't remember it at all, but there was a theme song for WWE Hell in a Cell. The song Hero was a theme song for Tribute to the Troops in Royal Rumble 2000. They were on the SmackDown vs. Raw 2010 soundtrack. Yeah, these are all just basically like wrestling bands. Like all the kind of bands that like make the music where you just like throw the like the video packages, like you set them to those songs.
Yep.
Traps. Yeah.
All right. Headstrong is a good song. I like Headstrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, these are the songs that you could hear on the radio. Matter of fact, I fucking still hear. How many times we got to mention Puddle of Mud? Double Puddle of Mud. Puddle of Mud. Puddle of Pud. He said Puddle of Pud. I didn't catch that. There were some, and I can't believe we got on this subject from anything. But look, there were some great bands in the early 2000s. There were some definite one-hit wonders. I felt Oasis was one of those one-hit wonders for that one fucking song, but I mean, they would show these crowds like that, like they were seeing Michael Jackson with women crying in the audience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the fucking young Luke Burge just crying and screaming and throwing his hands up, trying to grab him.
Yeah, just grabbing air. Man, that's.
I feel like they had another song. Like, yeah, you could. I feel like they're like a two-hit wonder per se, because there was Wonderwall and there was the other one. I can't remember.
No, there wasn't.
Don't Look Back in Anger.
What? Who? What? No.
Don't Look Back in Anger. That was the other song, and I will look back in anger anytime I'm forced to fucking remember them and having to hear Wonderwall against my will just dozens of times.
Don't even remember it. Don't even remember it. What are some other fucking all good ones that only had a couple songs? Matchbox 20.
No, actually,
And
hold
he
on a
was
second.
the-
Let me just get this queued up because I'm going to say it, and it's only fair that I play this. But
Matchbox 20 was that lead singer was the son of some famous singer. I forget who it was.
I actually, unironically, do enjoy Matchbox.
And I got
20
news
cigarettes.
for you. That means you're gay.
I'm gonna tell myself it's only fair, but yeah, I actually do like him because it's like his voice doesn't sound conventional. Like it sounds, it's not like perfectly tuned. It's like got a little strain to it. It's a little rough. I like it. It's good.
Yeah, who was his father again? I forgot.
Well, he's Rob Thomas, so he was Dave Thomas's son, the hamburger guy.
No. I guess he wasn't the one that was famous father.
You're probably thinking of somebody else.
I don't know. What was another one from back then? Seven Mary 3. What was that one song they had? Cumbersome. That was a fucking banger. But that was it.
Yeah, he's Wendy's brother, he says.
Please.
He's like the Shane McMahon of the hamburger industry.
God, you guys think alike. It's fucking scary. But all right, I guess we should stop talking about shitty one-hit wonder bands from the 90s and 2000s.
I don't think you're naming necessarily one hit. Well, yeah, it's fucking 7 Mary 30 guys, but Matchbox 20 actually had a fair amount of hits. I'm trying to think of.
Well, let's face it, they were a one-hit wonder. Their second good song was with Carlos Santana. So was it them or was it the awesome guitar playing by Carlos Santana that made the song a hit?
Well, they had 3 a.m. They had Push. They had Real World. Those are all. They get fairly consistent radio play on like a lot of those like soft rock stations.
Yeah, I never heard of them.
Breaking Benjamin. Yeah, that's one. I'm trying to contribute something to. Oh, fucking A. I was just listening to fucking. Oh, God. I can't even remember the name of the song. Nope.
I wasn't really listening to music at this time when Breaking Benjamin came out, to be honest with you. I was way into talk radio at that point. Ingrained in talk radio at that point, so. We do. What? Who?
The Crystal Method. Do you remember the Crystal Method? Do you remember that song? The name of the game?
Crystal Method. Okay. Filter.
Mm-hmm.
Filter had like 2 good songs.
Oh God, what is the name of that?
Coal Chamber. I just went deep with Coal Chamber. So let's see who fucking knows that one. Went into the depths.
Mm-hmm. What's the name of that band? I'm trying to remember the name of the song, but it's got that long. It's like the long like instrumental part where it's like.
Guns N' Roses?
No.
Metallica?
Nope. We're getting farther and farther away from it. We're talking one-hit wonder bands here.
I know. I'm trying to think that I mean, you really can't do that to me.
We'll get there. I'll figure it out here in a second. I'm trying to remember the fucking name of the band.
You let up my sound hound and you can sing to it.
Low Fidelity All Stars Battle Flag. That's what I was thinking. That's another.
Okay.
One.
They had a couple good ones.
It was on. They had that on the fucking Sopranos. It was like season 1 of the Sopranos.
They had a couple good ones. Yeah, they did have a couple good ones. So, Pantera.
Pantera 10. I don't know what that means.
I don't know. I think it means we probably should start talking about AEW Dynamite real quick. And then we can talk Vince, folks. Then we will be talking Vince. We have 6, count them, 6 episodes. No, we're not going to break them all down. We're going to get into what remember from each episode.
Scene by scene breakdown. Get your popcorn.
Yes, that's what we're going to do for each episode, folks. So stay tuned for 3 more hours.
I was going to say, it's 6 episodes, an hour each. That's going to take us about fucking 43 hours to get through.
It would for us. It would.
It would be 20 minutes of the documentary and like 93 minutes of poker.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and get through this AEW. This was Grand Slam, this Dynamite last night that we watched. And there were some pretty good matches, some long matches. There were only a couple of backstage segments, one with the conglomeration, and I don't remember if there were any more after that. We did see MVP debut last night on AEW Dynamite. I think that's really good. He also said to Prince Nana that they have to that he'd like to talk business with Swerve. That I think everybody got the same idea when that was heard. So we all heard
they
that.
Made you to lean into business. I think he said it twice. Business.
Yeah.
Basically, Lashley's coming, but he isn't here yet. Wink, but she fucking ruined it.
Yeah, Lashley's coming, and I would love if they brought Shelton in too.
Wait a minute, I have an idea. Well, maybe I don't have an idea. Lashley's coming. Is fucking CJ Perry still under contract with him? Is that why we haven't seen Miro in a while? Or they gotta rehash that old gem?
She's not under contract with them. They're both gone. I think Miro went back to fucking Bulgaria or something. He's asked for his release.
He's been dead for the last 3 years. I just haven't had the heart to tell anybody.
He's asked for his release already from AEW, so we'll see what happens with that. I'd give it to him. You're paying the guy to sit fucking home. You're paying the guy not to go to WWE is what you're doing.
Why does Bischoff hate them so much? Fucking Tony Khan has like a dozen people under lock and key that he's paying money to that he's not using. And fucking Miro, you got Ricky Starks, you got fucking there's a couple other people. House of Black, they use only once every couple weeks.
Brian Cage.
Yeah. Want to get cut with the AEW layoffs. Sad times.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe she can join RVD's scam website that we just got done talking about.
Maybe. There you go. She'll be jumping on there soon.
Hell yeah, Trent should be re-signed.
Oh, good Lord.
We don't know that he sucks. He might be really good. He just never actually wrestled. Which is good hustle, actually.
I think there might have been a reason for that, though.
Yeah, but I think, don't they have like guaranteed contracts now? So he got whatever the fuck was in the contract, and he didn't take a single bump. So God bless him by fucking Al Snow standards or Kevin Nash standards. That man is the best wrestlers ever.
I will bet there's an out clause if you get fired in those contracts. You don't get paid the whole thing. You probably get paid the 90-day or whatever. Actually, I don't even think Tony does that. I would love to see what happens if you get fired at that company. That's a good question. That's a good question, Smart. I don't think you get the whole contract, though. That's not how it works. That would be a buyout. That would be like a buyout. You buy out their contract.
I mean, still, whatever he got paid to not have to take a bump. So God bless him.
Yeah, he never had to. But anyway, like I said, we didn't have that many backstage segments or anything. But we did have the Bryan Danielson, Nigel McGuinness match, which was really fucking good. I think everybody expected it to be really fucking good, but it was a damn near 20-minute match. But I thought it was great. I thought these guys, I would like to see Nigel keep going. I thought it was a great match. Nigel tapped out, but I just thought it was awesome. I really did. Everything about it. Brian, you knew Brian was going to fucking bleed in this match, and he did. I just loved everything about the match. I thought it was fun. Good match. You knew, but I mean, Bryan Danielson, Nigel McGuinness, you knew it was going to be a good match. These two guys out there.
Was I the only one that didn't realize that the title wasn't on the line until like halfway through the match? That's what dawned on me. I was like, wait a minute, hold on a second.
Yeah, no, there was no title on the line. This was just a match.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It was cool though, because it's like with Grand Slam being the big, like one of their big shows, they got JR right off the bat, so that's always cool. Like I know, fucking, the steam's coming out of the fastball a little bit, but it's still like even at his current state, it still just feels like it's a more important match when JR is on call.
Take the fucking mask off, Excalibur. Look ridiculous. Look fucking ridiculous.
I mean, you only see him for like a short amount of time anyway.
And he looks ridiculous there, fucking commentating with a fucking mask on. You don't even have a fucking Spanish accent. You're not a real luchador. Take the fucking mask off. God damn you. Unprofessional fuck.
What is Sammy Guevara the only one that's allowed to be a fake Mexican?
His last name is at least Guevara. What's his real last name? I don't even know.
Fucking Weisenberg.
Is it?
Probably. It's I don't know. It's some fucking. Let's see. Let's look it up. Let's look it up.
Oh, now I see why he wears the mask. Okay.
No, I was talking about Sammy Guevara. You asked what Sammy Guevara's real name is. I'd be surprised if his name was just like Sal Goldenblatt or some shit.
Yeah, no, I just saw a picture.
Oh, no, it's actual. His name is actually Samuel Guevara. What's he fucking go. Samuel? Samuel.
There you go, Samuel.
He at the very least has one white parent. I refuse to believe otherwise. Let's find out what Excalibur is.
See, I could take this guy more seriously. This guy, I could take fucking seriously.
All right.
This guy. I can take this guy seriously. This guy's a fucking joke. Joke? Not a joke.
He kind of just looks like what would like if Kevin Smith got skinnier sooner in life.
Yeah, he does. He looks like a skinny Kevin Smith. You're right. But, I mean, go out there like this. Like a human being, like a fucking professional announcer, not a fucking dork. Jesus Christ. Anyway.
This sounds mildly like, why don't you fucking cut your hair, you hippie?
No. I don't care about fucking if he had long hair, I wouldn't care. I don't care about people's hair. That doesn't fucking make it. I just think it's fucking stupid. The guy's out there trying to be a fucking, this is what we need to serious. I'm serious here. No, you're not. No, you're not.
That's a great Excalibur impression. Of course, Excalibur known for his southern accent.
I can't talk that fast.
You made Excalibur fucking JR without the balls.
But anyway, luckily, at least we did get some JR out there, and he was pretty much good after that. Then we got this wonderful Hook versus Roderick Strong match.
Mark Letzman.
What?
That's his name. Mark Letzman. Letzmann.
Oh. Nice.
Maybe he is part of the tribe.
He might be part of my part of the tribe, maybe.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying, yeah.
I still don't give a fuck. Take the fucking mask off. Good. That's even more reason you should take the fucking mask off.
Well, next time you see him at meetings.
Put on a fucking yarmulke, bitch.
What would you think of that if that happened? Because like there's plenty of photos of like luchadors wearing cowboy hats. Like, how would you feel about Excalibur just rocking a yarmulke over the mask?
Wouldn't bother me. You put a cowboy hat on, I wouldn't care.
He's also from Detroit, Michigan, apparently, so he's not too far from. Jeez.
Wow. Dude, tell him to take the fucking mask off. Okay.
It's like the idea of him being from Detroit and just getting robbed for the mask. It's like, all right, run those sneakers, run that mask. and actually put the mask back on.
Please do. Please do. But yeah, this was a little match for the FTW title. It was Hook wins. They hug, handshake and hug at the end of the match. And then Hook decides to retire the title. It was a nice little father-son moment there.
Did you think that was going to be an angle at first? Because that's what I thought.
Oh, you thought Taz was going to hit him with it?
That would have been awesome, actually. But I just thought somebody was going to like interrupt him, and then they were going to be the next person to challenge for the belt. But that would actually have been great if like he gives the belt to Taz, and they hug, and Taz just like knees him in the balls and hits him with the belt, and says, "You're fucking disappointed."
Right in the airbags, bitch.
Fucking Dusty's kid is a champion right now. What are you? You're a mid-carder. You disgust me, kid. When I was your age, I already won 8 ECW titles.
I had to give you this fucking title.
Where's your shitty neck tattoo, brother? Get the eye tattoo that you have on your back, and you move it to your neck.
Yeah, he's got it on his back. Whatever. Not that bad, I guess. Not that bad, I guess. Then we had the AEW tag team titles on the line. The Young Bucks beat Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher for that title. That was a good match too. But as I've always said, a Young Bucks match is a Young Bucks match. They go out, they get their shit in, and boom, double V trigger, and the match is over.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. The only thing that I didn't like about it was like they did the false finish at the end and make you think that the match was going to keep going, and then the match just ended on the next move anyway. So I was like, oh, just fucking end it with the I think it was Fletcher taking the title shot to the back of the head, or taking the title to the back of the head.
Yeah, we had the whole thing with Don Callis giving Fletcher the screwdriver. Fletcher went to do it. Will Ospreay, the good guy, Will Ospreay, stopped him. No, that's not how we win, bruv. Don't do it like that, bruv.
And
they lost.
I mean, he's gonna be over regardless. But I don't think it's a good route to just make Ospreay seem like a total pussy that just like won't do anything for him. It's like, no, we're gonna do things the sportsmanship way. It's like, yeah, that's what everybody wants. Is just a fucking Boy Scout. We're all gonna cheer and root for that. Like, you could let him do something cool. It doesn't have to be like a total bitch all the time.
That's the babyface way. You don't win like that.
I do love how fucking reticent Fletcher was to use a screwdriver, because he just fucking callous hands on the screwdriver and he doesn't even think about it. He's just like, fucking stab him with the screwdriver. Fletcher's like, hell yeah, dude, let's do this shit. He's got a big smile from ear to ear on his face. He grabbed it. He just fucking enthusiastically ran into the ring. He was about to shank him like it was fucking Prison Break.
I don't think he knew what it fucking was. What is this thing?
Mm-hmm.
What is this?
It's not a knife.
That's a knife. This is a knife.
That's right. Okay, dude.
I just think the Young Bucks are just going to keep getting themselves over, and I still say it's a bad idea because these fucking ratings are not going up and up. They are just staying level. I don't know, man. I don't know. But after that match, we had the women's world title. It was Mariah May versus Yuka Sakazaki. I think we all knew that was going to end up happening. Nothing really big about the match except that Mina Shirakawa showed up and they hugged. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had this John Moxley match. We had Moxley over Darby Allin. After the match, though, is really what I enjoyed, actually, to be honest with you. I really thought this show went off the air. They had like a 5-minute overrun. They had a decent overrun for this show. And I really thought this ending was really good. It ended in the usual clusterfuck. But I just thought the way it played out was great. We had Daniel Bryan coming out at the after this match, grabbed Moxley with a tie and choked him. I'm sure Justin Roberts was having flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought it was a great ending. And it's funny, I could swear John Moxley just won an opportunity to take on Bryan Danielson. Yet Danielson said, if you want the match, you've got it. Like, I'm giving it to you.
I think he just like made it for Wrestle Dream and not necessarily like granted a title shot. I could be wrong on that one. But
Well,
it was
he
like,
did,
it was
but
more just anything is like, I'm gonna kick your fucking ass. Like that was just the point of it.
I'm going to kick your fucking face in.
Yeah, I'm gonna kick your fucking head in. That's what
Yeah.
he really said, and then they bleeped it out. They kept doing that too. They kept like they fucking hit that edit button real quick a bunch of times on the show. And what sucked about it was it wasn't even like they did that during the Danielson segment. They did it during a couple of times where it didn't seem like it belonged. I just remember because instead of just dropping the audio, it was like a weird, like loud, like hissing noise that was like terrible and like very unpleasant to listen to.
Oh, Triller doesn't edit. They don't censor.
I see. Now I was watching the like TBS version.
Yeah, I was watching the Triller one, and it doesn't. I heard fucking.
Ooh, well,
clear as
involving
day.
whom?
That the word, just the word.
Okay, I was gonna say I might need to check out this Triller version.
Just the word. Just the word. But you had the Blackpool Combat Club come down there. You had Private Party down there. You had a bunch of guys down there. It just turned into a big clusterfuck. And Danielson gave him the match at Wrestle Dream, and I thought it was a good ending.
That was actually pretty great because you had like the Blackpool Combat Club people come out. And you had like you said, they had Private Party come out, and there's this big ruckus, and then you just hear Excalibur on commentary through his mask that you love say, and Commander's down there too. It's like,
oh yeah, oh
for him.
And by the way, during the John Moxley Darby, did I just say John Moxley? John Moxley Darby Allin match. We had said a few weeks ago this character that Moxley's doing is loosely based on some parts of American History X. Did you notice he made him bite the ropes like Edward Norton's character made the guy bite the curb, and then he got up his mouth. That was a little. I see what he was doing there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Should have just said night, night.
So does this lead to John Moxley using a specific word on AEW television at some point?
Not yet. Not yet. I'm just saying if he heils Hitler, I won't be surprised. I would not be surprised.
Well, I mean, JBL is available to do shows, apparently. He's showing up at GCW, so we might get Moxley and JBL just goose-stepping the night away.
Hey, goose-stepping. That good Billy Joel song, "Goose Stepping the Night Away."
My favorite Billy Joel song, yes, "Goose Stepping the Night Away."
That's my favorite too. I can't believe it's yours.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, "Goose Stepping the Night Away." Oh, and that other great song. What was that? "Heil to the Chief." Yeah, that was a good one too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we can talk about the Vince doc because I think we're gonna. I mean, like I said, we're not gonna dig too deep into it. It was what it was. A lot of this stuff we all already knew. But yesterday, everybody woke up, and my God, I think some people just stayed up after midnight and started binge watching it right then because there was already people complaining about it first thing in the morning. But the first episode was called Junior Smark.
Mm-hmm.
This one pretty much. No, it wasn't called. Well, we can call it Junior Smark if you want. That's fine with me.
Mm.
We can do that. I meant Junior, Smark.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I will accentuate my punctuation next time. What?
Very good.
Anyway. But it kind of this one here was mostly the usual Vince's childhood that we've heard about all a bunch of times. We heard the story about Dusty being about to be the face of the company, but not. I think this episode actually was the most we saw of Cody. We didn't really see too much of Cody Rhodes. I think they were not trying to give us a ton of Cody Rhodes in this thing.
Yeah, I've been excited about this ever since it kind of came out, just to see what they were going to do in terms of like, what the story they tell, how fair they're going to be, how honest they're going to be. And I was like all excited. And I was looking forward to watching it. And I start watching it a couple minutes in. They start talking about Dusty, and I'm like, oh God, please no, please no, please no. And then all of a sudden here comes Cody, and then
Get him out of here! He's got AIDS!
Well,
that's my reaction.
I mean, you get a tattoo there. It's basically announcing you do. But now there was
Which
one.
actually, since you mentioned Cody, I think we both had sort of the same agreement that Cody fucking was not needed here and contributed absolutely nothing to this document.
No, not at all. Cody wasn't on.
Like,
Pull up our little conversation because we did have some notes.
Like, I was at Batch at the Beach when the NWO formed. It's like, good, wonderful. Who cares? Don't give a fuck.
Exactly.
Like, they had hours upon. They said they had hundreds of hours. They had like 100 hours of interviews, and like that didn't make it on cutting room floor. Like, I don't care that you saw the NWO perform when you were a child. Wonderful, great. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just reading over this because we, like I said, we were kind of conversating on Messenger last night. All right, I didn't start getting to you till episode 3. So now Vince did take credit for the WrestleMania and creating the WrestleMania name. I think we all know it was Howard Finkel, who has been credited many times. Vince wanted to call it the Colossal Tussle. But I guess when the other guy is dead, you can do whatever you would like.
Mm-hmm.
But this was just kind of it went through Vince's childhood. It went through him buying the company from his dad. It went through his relationship with his father that was kind of non-existent for a long time and then became existent. Got into a bunch of stuff, but nothing really groundbreaking here. Hulk Hogan. Now, there was one thing Hogan said right in the beginning of this episode, and Vince said it too. He said, boy, I wish I could tell you the real stories. And they're like, well, go ahead. He's like, no, I can't. And Hogan even said, you're never going to get the whole enchilada out of any of these guys.
That was like the most surprising part of this documentary, is that they basically opened with Hogan just being like, look, everyone is going to lie to you that you interview. It's like, especially me. I mean, hold on a second. Wait a minute. No, that's not what I meant. It's like, that's the first honest thing you've said the last like 30 years. And I just did not expect to see that.
No, yeah. But there was that. Now, I did like that every episode had a little disclaimer before it that all these interviews were way like, listen, this was before Vince has been, all this shit came out. So, people may praise him. Don't get mad. Don't get mad at us.
They said, we didn't know. Okay. Damn it. Yep. You there? You're not there. You froze.
They had that in every episode, but nothing we didn't already pretty much know. Episode 2, Heat.
Yes.
Boy, when they started with Stand Back, I knew it was going to be a good one.
I thought the same thing too. I'm like, oh, they're about to bury this motherfucker. They're opening with Stand Back. It's like, here we go. Here's what we're going to see.
Yep. Now, we did get one thing. Hogan finally admitted that he stooged Jesse Ventura to Vince because he's denied that before. So finally, we do get Hulk Hogan admitting that he did go to Vince and say, Jesse's trying to start a union, brother. He's getting the gals all riled up. So we got that. We moved into this one was pretty Hogan heavy because we were talking WrestleMania 3. So that was it. And again, I don't know what even to do about this one. They said they sold 93,000 for WrestleMania 3. Dave Meltzer swears it was only 78,000 in the building. This is just like, so basically all you're telling me is this whole ticket bullshit has been going on since WrestleMania 3. Thank you. That's all I needed to fucking know.
Damn near forever.
Yeah. All this bullshit's been going on. And the whole thing, Dave Meltzer disagreed about the whole thing about that there was no torch being passed. Andre was not coming back anyway, so there was no reason to pass the torch. And he said Andre had been slammed a bunch of times already. Hogan was not the first guy to do it. There's pictures. There's video of Yokozuna doing it before Hogan.
I think there was a video of Hogan slamming him before that too. I think Hogan was one of the ones
at a live show. Hogan was like half kayfabe, half not here. And they did go through and explain the whole kayfabe thing to everybody. That they did. They did go through and do that. But I love that they both Hogan and Vince stuck to the story that neither one of us knew if Andre was going to actually do the job because, he didn't have to. Right. The guy was a fucking professional. I think we knew what Andre was going to do. I think everyone knew he was going to do the right fucking thing. Yeah. Now, Stephanie came off kind of stupid in some of these episodes, and my God, I will say this for Stephanie. She is her father's daughter. Shane does not come off like his father's son. Shane comes off like the black sheep of the family. He doesn't seem like he belongs.
Look, if he didn't look like Vince, I would be certain that he was adopted. Because it's like, you seem like you have you seem like you have a functioning moral compass. Like, what are you doing in this family? Like, it was great because, like, okay, jumping ahead, but Vince was talking about the idea, we were talking about this earlier, we were talking about this in the group chat, but it was like, fucking Vince was explaining it like Shane was some kind of a prude. He's like, all right, so Shane didn't like the idea of me fucking wheeling his mother out there just full of fucking pills and then like cucking her in front of like a national television audience, making out Trish and whatnot. And Shane really didn't like the idea that I kept trying to angle for my daughter to marry a wrestler, Triple H in particular.
Yeah, and
just like Shane's a little bit of a conservative guy. He's a bit reserved, He doesn't like the idea of me pitching numerous angles where I try to fuck my daughter.
Yeah, God forbid. And he laughed about that angle. That's a few episodes. That's like episode 4 or 5, but he laughed about that fucking angle. But then again, Vince also said that at the hands of his mother, there was some incest involved too. I don't know how that went, but so it kind of makes sense for him to say that, but I don't know. There was just some, but I mean, God forbid Shane believe in these little things called family values, morals. Wow.
Like you're talking about, this is like most inadvertent, like good press for Shane. Like I'm sure that wasn't the plan, but it was just like, I feel like if you were just involved in that family, you were watching with bated breath. But then if you're Shane, you're just like, well, everything went well for me. Like y'all have fun with this.
I came off wonderfully.
I was like, hey, Dad, we should buy UFC. And he's like, no, pal, we're opening up WWF New York. Get the fuck out of here.
Now,
XFL, pal. We don't need UFC.
I didn't know that they were in discussions to buy UFC at that time. I got to admit, I didn't know that. I might have heard it and forgot about it, but I don't think I knew that.
I feel like the real question is like, it's a big what if scenario because, okay, let's say WWF buys UFC. And I think the idea was that it was supposed to be like Shane wanted to be the guy that run it. So like theoretically, it could still reach close to, if not maybe even better success. But then like if WWE has it, is it just on the back burner? Like, do they have the kind of like resources and energy and effort? Not can they or do they, like, would they want to dedicate the time and effort to fucking actually make it what it ended up becoming? Or like, would it also kind of get muddied with the idea of like them bringing on like wrestlers or like trying to like sports entertainment eyes, for lack of a better term, UFC? Like, I could see people like starting to question. I could see them like straight up just fucking ruining it being a legitimate sport too. But I could see the idea of people like maybe not believing that it was anymore if they were involved. Just all kinds of potential like pitfalls that UFC didn't face by not being owned by WWE. But it is interesting to see, like, to think about what UFC could have become if it was a WWE property.
I don't think it'd still be around.
I think it would still be successful, like if they at least treated it like it was a real sport. And like I feel like maybe it wouldn't necessarily be as credible. Like I feel like it would still be like kind of like late 90s, early 2000s stage UFC, where it's like there's a lot of like fucking crazy people involved in it. Like it wouldn't be as much now, where it's like there's a lot of just, it's like more or less just a legitimate sport. But I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think it'd be around right now. I think they would have made it into a fucking joke. But I just think it's funny they were trying to buy them, and suddenly now look who owns WWE.
That was so great because you just get Vince being like, well, Shane wanted to buy it. But the reason why that would never work was not a good idea. Shane doesn't deserve any credit for having a good idea. It's like,
and what really annoyed the shit out of me on this, on all these episodes, is every time they said WWF, the subtitles said WWE, because I can't hear without subtitles.
Understood. Same.
So the subtitles would say WWE, and they were saying WWF. It's like, put what they're fucking saying.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And also, they didn't have to blur out the WWF logo either. So there was some good footage on these. But as you said, I did like the way these were put together. I liked the way they were done. I really did think it was fucking good. This one brought the whole Dr. Zahorian. My God, did he look like a right out of the fucking carnival or what?
Mm-hmm.
That guy looked right out of the fucking carnival. And boy, I'll tell you, if Shane was adopted, maybe I'm not so sure Bruce Pritchard isn't either. He is McMahon's boy, bro.
Oh my God. Like and he kind of explains why later on in the documentary.
I get it.
Like, my God, his lips couldn't be any fucking deeper into Vince's ass.
that is Vince's boy right there.
Like they had Jimmy Hart on the documentary, and I could picture Jimmy Hart just being like, "Oh, not so much dick riding, baby. You're in."
Jimmy,
like you had Bischoff and Jimmy Hart, and Bruce Pritchard came off as the biggest dick rider in the documentary. Imagine that.
Yeah, really, he did. I mean, I swear I figured Hogan was going to be the guy that came off like that. Nope, Pritchard. And then when they brought him back in the last episode, which looked like that was some new footage, he was like, "No, y'all made a hit piece out of it." Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh shit, dude, I don't think this came off as the hit piece that everyone thought it was going to be. I don't think it came off as the fluff piece I thought it was either, but nothing really hard hitting in any of these episodes here. This wasn't shock journalism or anything. But we did get to see Tony Atlas. Tony Atlas had some great, in this episode, Tony Atlas had some really great, what am I trying to say here? Quotes, some quotable things. When they were talking, first of all, Phil Mushnick lives up to his last name. He's a fucking Mushnick.
Oh?
He is just a curmudgeon who just despises Vince McMahon. I don't like this fuck. This guy looks like a little fucking weasel reporter.
I mean, yes, he does, but like at the same time, like, kind of seems like he was proven right. Like, yeah, he does look like a fucking little stooge or whatever, but like, a lot of this shit he was saying was true.
Oh, I'm not saying
he's
he's a liar.
An unlikable person.
I'm not saying he's a liar. I never said he was a liar. But I did say, I just think the guy's a fucking douchebag. And he definitely has a vendetta against McMahon, which means he's going to keep digging and digging and digging until something does eventually pop, and looks like something did. But this went into the whole ring boy scandal that happened back in the early 90s, I believe. And that's what this was talking about. Luckily, we had Tony Atlas there talking about Pat Patterson and why he didn't like Pat Patterson.
I didn't like him because he tried to touch my pecker. He what? He tried to touch my pecker. Why didn't you tell him? To who?
To who?
You don't know how this works, do you? It's like,
There's nobody to go to. There's no one to go to.
You either deal with it or you don't work here. It's like, that is the truest shit. Like that was funny to me because like I think this was the same episode. I mentioned they had Jimmy Hart, and they were like, did you know about the scandals? He's like, yeah. He's like, I don't know what I can say on this. Like, there's a lot. It seemed like a couple of the people that they had interviewed was like, they didn't know exactly what this was. They didn't know how much WWE was involved. They didn't know what the repercussions were for like speaking candidly. So I feel like that got in the way a little bit. But then you had just had Tony Atlas out there who just clearly didn't give a fuck.
No, and I mean, actually, Eric Bischoff says he's never been interviewed for this. He said those were questions that were asked in another interview. If you look, that looks like the last special the same room.
The fucking Who Killed WCW?
It looks like that was the same fucking special. It looks like the same room he was in. He said
because he basically said the same exact shit that he said on the Who Killed WCW.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Except his attitude on Vince changed in this one. It was very weird the way it happened. But we'll get into that in the next episode. But they got into that. They got into the Rita Chatterton thing. Vince came off looking so bad. I'm sorry. Vince made this piece did not make Vince look bad. Vince made Vince look bad with some of the things he was saying. Like, once you're accused of rape, you're a rapist. Okay, Vince. I don't think it's once. I think it's once, twice, thrice, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. That's when you become the rapist.
Twice, 3 times a rape.
I mean,
yeah, I think once you start racking up, like once you start like competing with Cosby, once they raid your house and they find a fucking 1,000 bottles of baby oil, I think that's when the problems start coming in.
Yeah, I mean, look, it happens. Mm-hmm. Listen, Diddy was just selling baby oil to Randy Orton. That's why he had so much. All right, don't worry about it.
I do like the idea with the whole Diddy thing that they just found 1,000 bottles of baby oil and they're just like, no, you're going to jail. Like, we'll figure the rest out later. You're going to jail. There's no way anything that you're doing is legal here.
Mm-mm. Yeah, exactly. Oh God. Now they did tell us in the end of this episode that Rita Chatterton did actually settle a multi-million-dollar settlement. So while Vince continues saying there was no wrongdoing, I just paid her off to shut her up. Just didn't, just no reason.
There's just some severance.
They covered the steroid trial. They covered the whole steroid trial.
What didn't dawn on me about that was they were doing the whole steroid trial. There's 2 things that I thought were interesting about this. The first one we'll get into real quick was that they were saying basically that they had the whole steroid trial and all that, and while the steroid trial was going on, they were trying to open up the World Bodybuilding Federation.
Yeah,
and they're like, man, it was real bad timing on that because everyone who bodybuilds just has to do steroids, and that's fucking true. Like almost everyone who bodybuilds does steroids, like even to this day. Whereas like it was like, yeah, it's like fucking poor timing.
And then, I got to admit, I kind of had a little respect for Hulk Hogan in this one little statement where he admitted to lying on Arsenio Hall that he never I used steroids 3 times, brother. He finally admitted that was a lie. Everyone knew it was anyway.
That came with one of the greatest quotes in this documentary was, I really self-destructed myself.
Brother.
It's like, yeah, who else could you self-destruct, Hogan?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, he did plenty. And speaking of Hogan, they did cover his jump over to WCW and all that whole thing. And then Hogan did the whole star witness thing. Oh man, I fooled the government. I fooled them so bad. And it's like, oh my God, dude. Not a good thing to fucking be joking around about.
See what happened, brother, was that I pretended to have a limp. And see what ended up, and they were none the wiser until I got out of the police office, brother. And then the investigator started remembering everything I said in a montage towards the end of the investigation. And he was like, oh man, it was him all along, brother. And that's how I made the usual suspects, dude.
I just love Vince sitting there with his fucking neck brace on.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Now Hogan did say at the end, though, he said, "Look, I was granted immunity. I could do any fucking thing I want." I mean, technically, the government could have said, "All right, well, now you don't have immunity because you didn't do what you promised us." So I'm not quite sure that he had been granted immunity. I don't think they had any. If you listen to a lot of the people, they had no evidence for this fucking case.
Right.
Even a lot of people were like, no one thought he was going to be found guilty. No one. So anyway, that was episode 2, folks.
Basically, the whole idea was that they were saying that Vince never actually forced anyone. He just implied that they would be more successful if they did steroids, so they needed to work out harder. So basically, everyone was like, "Yeah, he definitely like influenced people, but he never flat outright forced them to." So like, yeah, he's an asshole, but there's really nothing you can do. The other thing I was going to mention was it made me laugh because they were talking about like after the steroid era, it's like, all right, so they're going to have to shift gears. They put the belt on Bret Hart. Bret Hart saying, it's like, okay, they put the belt on me because they know that I'm reliable and they know that I'm trustworthy. It's like, yeah, I'm not going to be found with a bunch of steroids. I'm not going to be found with that fucking underage girl in my car. And then, like, they immediately cut to Vince and he's like, well, he didn't have much charisma, but he was a good wrestler. It's just like, you really got to fucking shit on him one more time.
Oh, of course. Just one more time. Just one more time.
Fucking weird is that family where Vince went, that's a strange family right there, the Harts.
Oh, yeah.
Like, compared to your family? Like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck do we not know about them?
Think about that one. Think about that statement right there. Then we had, though, Smark, we went to episode 3. This was the episode Bret got to put himself over, and boy, he just couldn't stop talking about himself. I'll tell you. Mm-hmm. This was the screw job episode. It started off with the Wendy Richter screw job first. That they went through that whole thing where she didn't want to lose the title that way, and they just basically said, "Fuck it, we'll take it from her," and they did. They flashed back a little bit to the steroid trial with Hogan. Let's see. Then they started talking a little bit about this is where I think we all knew the Attitude Era episode was coming up next, because they started talking a little bit about the war with WCW, the Turner, Nash, Hall. We saw Bruce again. We saw Bruce Pritchard in this one. This is where we finally saw. I don't think we had seen Triple H up until this episode, have we?
I think that was the first one.
I think this might have been. This is where they went through the whole curtain call episode. This was also the curtain call.
Which Triple H at one point they're saying that like they do the curtain call and like they got Vince's approval to do something, but they didn't exactly tell him what it was going to happen.
Right.
They did it, and then everybody got punished. And I think it was Triple H that was saying what Vince told him was like that he was going to have to eat shit and like the taste of it. And he's like, oof, knowing what we know now, that is a very dubious quote.
Yeah. Interesting quote for back then and now both. But a lot of the old guys that were on that show thought it was just horrible to do. Taker was like, I was pissed. Taker was great on here. I love the fact that Taker has finally stopped taking, and they even talked about how kayfabe they used to be with their characters back in the day. I think it might have been in this episode. Taker, I think is really great on these shows. I'm glad he finally kind of got away from the must keep kayfabe and all right, I am just Mark Calloway. And he's kind of let himself start doing interviews. He's got a podcast now. He's just out talking because he actually talks very intelligent.
Yeah.
For a dead man. And he's been around all this shit. I mean, you want to talk about a locker room leader. That man, everyone has said, was the locker room leader. So who do you think has probably the greatest stories of all to tell?
Right. Yeah, for sure.
I'm glad that Undertaker has started agreeing to do stuff like this. I really think it's fucking great. And again, I know this was 3 years ago. He's been doing it for a while. But Taker was great to hear from. I think his outlook on stuff is very believable because we all know where he was and what he did.
That is true for sure. I had two things because we were talking about the Monday night. They were talking about the Monday Night Wars on this one.
Yep.
It's like, first off, they start off the documentary basically. They're talking about the territories, and Vince is like, "Fuck it, like I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. If you fucking compete with me, keep up. If you can't keep up, you're gone." Right. But then he's talking about WCW, and he's just like, "I thought they were gonna put us out of business. We weren't ready for him." It's like, do you actually think he believed that back in the day? Because I feel like he probably was just like, "Now we're gonna fucking destroy these motherfuckers." But he made it seem like because. I feel like what he was trying to do was basically just paint them as being the underdog. They talk about that all the time. It's like Bischoff says, hey, it's not you versus me. It's you versus billionaire Ted and all of Ted's resources. It's not you versus some guy who's only been doing this for a couple of years. No, that's not how you portray this.
I mean, if you listen to Meltzer and what's been written, they were hurting for a little while there. They were in very much financial trouble at that time.
For sure, I believe that, but just the idea of like Vince was putting out that it was just like, I didn't know how we could compete against those guys. Like, oh shucks, like it clashes with like everything we know about him. But I don't know, maybe that is how he feels about it. The other thing that was interesting to me was like they were just fucking grilling Vince on the idea because he was like, I just didn't think the idea that they kept poaching our talent was right. And somebody like the guy that was asking him questions was like, was that not what you did in the territories? It's like, no. Like, how? It's like, I don't know. What I do and say are two different things.
Yeah, and exactly. He said that. He's like, well, Turner's philosophy was to hurt his competitor. I just wanted to compete with my competitor. What? Vince, and then this is where he brought up the whole, some might think it's hypocritical for me to say that I don't hurt others. I just do what's best for me. And he went into this whole diatribe of trying to backtrack that comment that, again, I don't think was edited, made him look like a bumbling fool.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Fucking Vincent Biden here.
It was terrible.
But they did start talking a little bit about the outsiders. Obviously, Hall and Nash going over to WCW. Hogan talking about his heel turn, biggest thing in the fucking world, man. You know how it goes, brother.
It was cool that Hogan mentioned that, like, he was like, I was heel before when I first got into the WWF, obviously, whatever the fuck it was back then. But what was cool is they did a side by side, and Hogan was doing the same like taunts and poses, like when he joined the NWO as when he was a heel, like back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised people don't talk about that because it's kind of like a cool little attention to detail that he was doing the same shit, like kind of went back to his old persona a little bit.
I'm just glad he got rid of that fucking, he literally had a fucking cock and balls shaved into his fucking chest back then. I mean, he had cock and balls. I mean, he did. It was right there.
Oh, he for sure looked like a porn star, like back in the day.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, he did. But this is where we got into the main name of this show. We started getting into the screw job, the Montreal screw job. And they started, this is not going to be a lot of, we all know what happened with the Montreal screw job. We all fucking know. So I'm not going to sit here and go into it, but this is what did lead to the Mr. McMahon character. And the next episode, and I think a lot of people, I'll tell you what, if you didn't like this episode, this whole documentary, I think a lot of us fans liked episode 4 watching the Attitude Era one. So that we're about to get into, but we did get into, like I said, we got into the whole screw job, now Vince said he got hit in the temple. Brett said he threw an uppercut. Now, unless Vince's head was turned like this, I don't know. I think Vince got knocked out. That's what they said he looked like he did when he was walking away there.
Yeah.
But
that's what I don't understand about Brett's story. Brett's story was saying that there was people ready to swarm him, so he had to make it quick. So he just hurried up and fired it uppercut. But it's like, what happened after that? Like, did you get jumped? Like, what the fuck? Like, scene missing.
Yeah. Another thing I thought was funny was Vince going, he's going to want to hit me. I think I owe him that. What?
I could believe that, honestly. Like,
I could
of all
too.
the shit that Vince said, that seems like that's the most believable. Of just yeah, fuck it, square up, take him on.
I 125% believe he absolutely said those words. I believe that absolutely. He's crazy. The guy is fucking crazy. He's crazy enough to do that. Absolutely.
Well, rumor is, scuttlebutt, quick aside, this is what we're talking about, was like that's apparently how he ended up respecting Kofi Kingston. So he kept fucking with him. And Kofi just hauled off and smacked him one day or something like that. And it was like all of a sudden after that, he was like, all right, cool. I believe in you now.
Attaboy. Attaboy. But this is at the end of this episode, we wrapped up, started talking about Monday Night Wars. And again, I thought this episode put a smile on my face. We started seeing, we got some Stone Cold Steve Austin in this episode. Cody, of course, but we got Stone Cold on this episode, and I think that was pretty awesome. The name of this episode was actually Attitude. Man, they showed some good stuff on this one, man. There was some great videos being shown behind these interviews, man. I thought it was awesome. And again, I once again, I loved the disclaimers. By the way, what was it? This was all before the allegations of sexual misconduct, assault, and trafficking. Most of these interviews took place before that happened. God damn it.
That's right.
So, and we also had Trish Stratus on this one. We also had Trish Stratus on the last one too. I forgot to mention her, I believe. She was on the last.
Right.
Yes, she was. She was. But we did get Trish Stratus, who just, wow, she talked about a lot of things. She talked about the barking like a dog thing. And I'll tell you, man, she just took it as she was an actress, and this was her job. She is a go with the flower. That guy that's married to her is lucky as shit because she is just a go with the flow kind of girl.
I do wonder though, because it goes back to the Jimmy Hart thing of Jimmy Hart not knowing what he can and cannot say. I wonder if there's a little bit with that with her. It's she doesn't want to ruffle any feathers. I would be really curious to know when she gets older and when just whatever. But I don't think we'll ever really know how she actually 110% felt about a lot of the shit that went on in that company with how she was portrayed, the angle she had to do, and all that shit. I'm sure there's plenty of moments where she was I'm not wild about this shit.
Yeah,
because she even said they were talking to her, and she was like, "My character wasn't cool with making out with another female, so then my character lost the belt." I was like,
yeah, but she's not as old school as a lot of those other guys are, so I don't know. It may be. I mean, listen, I think every one of them knows to toe the company line. And I think was that 3 years ago? Wasn't Trish just about to make a comeback into the company 3 years ago?
Yeah, she worked WrestleMania 2 years ago, I want to say now.
Yeah, so
not the one that just happened, but the other one, 39.
Yeah, she could have been in talks. Vince started talking about a wrestler here that he loved as a kid, Dr. Jerry Graham, talking about what a heel he was and flamboyant and aggressive. And Vince decided that's who he wanted to be. and that was the character that came out in Mr. McMahon. Now, the best thing about this, I think it was this episode where they started saying how Vince, how much of you is Mr. McMahon and how much of you is Vince? And he's like, oh, there's no difference, or the complete opposites. He said everyone else was like, no, Mr. McMahon is the real Vince. Everyone else said the same thing. The only one that's delusional is Vince McMahon himself.
See, that's the funny shit. Is like even Pritchard said that. Like Pritchard said it's the same person, but then Pritchard was also like, "You guys are being too hard on him." It's like if he's the character and the character is like this evil maniacal asshole, then isn't he also an evil maniacal asshole if he just is the character?
Right, and I get it. They're supposed to be the character, but turn up their self by to 10.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. There was just some very odd things said by Vince McMahon in all these episodes.
So real quick, as a kind of a backstory to this, I was saying I was listening to Bill Simmons talk about it, and a couple of things that were interesting was Vince would show up like hours late from when they were supposed to schedule their shooting. So like his assistant would keep pushing the time back over and over and over and over again. And when he would show up and you'd do the interviews, there would be a team of people like in the background that would remind him of things that had happened. So like the weird shit that he was saying, like there was some parts where like he just genuinely forgot some of that shit happened. Like they were saying that they fully believe him, that he just didn't remember certain shit or thought that it happened an entirely different way. Because I mean, that kind of happens to all of us. You get older, you start misremembering shit, whatever.
Well, most notable, he tried to get away with, he forgot about it, was when they asked him about the Sable affair. Boy, he looked like a deer caught in the headlights. Me? He wouldn't even answer the question. Vince Russo, or no, not Vince Russo. Who was the one that said that? I think it was Cornette. Cornette, I believe, said that Vince Russo and Vince McMahon were like obsessed with Sable. So who knows? Who knows? But then we got to speak to one of the greatest names in the world for a woman, Bonnie Hammer.
Mm-hmm.
My God, how did she not become a porn star? It's all wow. She went the complete opposite direction. We got to hear from her saying how heated things were between WWF and WCW. That was pretty cool to see. Bruce Pritchard told us how the Attitude Era was born, which again, I think we all knew. It all, of course, I don't think I've ever heard anyone say it all started with Shawn Michaels and gauze in his pants.
Yeah, that was odd, right?
I honestly thought I thought it was the Mike Tyson thing, is like that was what changed the tide, brought in the Attitude Era. I didn't realize it was Shawn Michaels and some rolled up gauze.
I feel like with that, and I wish I could give them credit, because somebody on the documentary said that like everybody likes to try to say like, well, when was it, like pinpoint this one definitive moment.
Yeah.
And they said it was basically just the way that the company shifted over time. Not their exact words, but it's just like, you just started to put together enough on TV, your product just changed enough to where it became something entirely different than what they were before with the whole new generation shit.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But
because for me, honestly, like, I don't know, everybody has their own different moments. Like you said, you thought it was like the Tyson moment. For me, I felt like it was like the screw job or like the promo right after the screw job, where he's like, it's passe to do heel face shit. We're not doing bad guy, good guys anymore. We're doing real shit,
I mean, some people say that's when it was brought in also, yeah. But as we're speaking about Mike Tyson, they go to Stephanie and they're like, you brought in Mike Tyson despite all the baggage he had with him. And she's like, well, wait, he hadn't been arrested for rape at that point. And they're like, yeah. All she could say was, ouch. That's all she could say. She never answered the question. Ouch. All she said. But they briefly talked about Austin's some of the issues he had when he left.
Yeah.
I think it's funny they didn't bring up the fact that they didn't bring up Austin's injuries as much as I thought they should have. They also didn't bring up the Brock Lesnar, the fact that he didn't want a job to block Brock Lesnar. They just said they breezed through some generic like, they were making me do storylines I didn't want to be involved in. I think that's all they said.
Right? Yeah. No, he was saying because they showed a little clip of him from Bite This of all things, where he's like, "Well, to be honest with you, I hate what Stone Cold's doing, and I hate the direction this company's going."
Right.
And then and you have like whoever was fucking hosting, I think it was like Kevin Kelly, just looking bewildered. It's like fucking kayfabe, brother, kayfabe.
Oh man, so much weird stuff in these bad boys right here. But
there was also more bullshit because they make you believe that like Stone Cold became Stone Cold immediately after he won King of the Ring.
Right. Exactly. There was a lot of, I mean, again, for us smart fans, this is a lot different to watch than someone who has no clue.
Right. And I'm not even talking about the documentary. It's just that is common WWE lore. Is that like, as soon as he cut the promo on Jake, he was Stone Cold. It's like, no, you still had him doing nothing for a little while before that. Or after that.
Because they didn't know how to fucking handle the signs and all that shit. I was glad they chronicled the Austin McMahon feud because that was one of the, I mean, still to this day, one of the greatest feuds ever in wrestling history, in my opinion. It was fun to watch. It was, no matter if you liked the content on this one right here, I think you got to see a lot of the Attitude Era stuff. And actually, when I was watching this episode, my middle child, Dylan, was out there, my 11-year-old. He was like, what is this? I'm like, this is what wrestling used to be like. He's like, this is crazy stuff. I'm like, ho. I said, this weekend, I'm going to show you some stuff. I'm going to break out the old Attitude Era. I got some Attitude Era stuff in that big DVD thing I showed you.
Right.
So, I got the PS4 out there. I'll play some good Attitude Era stuff for my son. Let him see it. 11. That's about the right age, right? Right?
I mean, honestly, I don't think so because it's funny you mentioned that because they were talking about like Shawn Michaels was talking about like I don't know if I would have necessarily let my kid, now that I have a daughter, like, watch some of the shit, especially the way we were treating women and all that kind of stuff. But it was like I watched it literally when it was going on, like 97, 98, 99. I was 7, 8, 9. Like I watched it as a child, and it was literally fucking anything else. Like Triple H says, it's like the people at the beginning of the documentary is like people say it's fake, and it's like, no, our fans aren't stupid. Like they say that our fans are idiots or gullible. It's like, no, they just believe that they're watching a show. It's like, yeah, that's exactly what it was. That's what I thought when I was a kid. That's how it was explained to me, is that it's just a TV show. These aren't real people. They're not interacting the way that real people interact in real world situations. And it's not something to be replicated. It's like, yeah, it's fucking anything else. Like Mortal Kombat was big at the time. Fucking Marilyn Manson, like they were talking about like wrestling, like reflecting popular culture at the time. Like that's just the way things were at that given point in time.
First T-shirt they showed was a Marilyn Manson T-shirt. I noticed that too. I caught that. I did catch that. That was right after they said the statement, they showed a Marilyn Manson T-shirt. But I don't know. I just thought this was a really fun. The Rock was on this one, obviously. But I like this one, man. We just saw a lot of shit on this one that was just great stuff from back in the Attitude Era. And like I said, the Rock was, of course, great on this one. For a minute there, I didn't think they were going to bring up the whole Die Rocky Die thing, and then of course they did. Thank God they did, because I think people would have fucking lost their fucking minds if they didn't.
Right.
But I definitely like that, though. I definitely like this episode. I think out of all the episodes, this one was my favorite. Just seeing the Attitude Era stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think for me, it was like episode 2, probably, because it was a little bit of the stuff, mainly for the Tony Atlas thing. It just like it kind of started to heat up, and there was like some certain things that I didn't necessarily know or didn't really think about because I wasn't like, I was very young at the time when a lot of that show was going down. So it was like kind of that was the part I liked about it the most. But yeah, it was the Attitude Era was definitely fun to like kind of relive all that stuff. But
Yeah, it was. Now they did also kind of chronicle the death of Owen, and Brett was there. Brett got choked up a couple times during this episode, rightfully so.
I felt for him when he was because he was talking about the screw job and being like, Owen just reminded me to be professional and to like not ruin it for the fans, and he just did a really good job. And then like he kind of started breaking down, and I was like, oof.
Yeah, this episode, and then here he broke down again. I listen, I'm not a Brett fan, but the guy's a fucking human being with feelings, and it was hard to see Brett breaking down. Listen, you know what? For me, it's hard to see a grown man break down like that, and you could tell he immediately started having some really emotional thoughts about Owen, which he should.
That goes back to more of Vince but fucking lying, because he was like, Brett got all mad because he thought that I was going to have hard feelings, and it's like, no, I was going to make Owen a star so that it fucking in spite of you. It's like bullshit. Like, no, you weren't going to make Owen a star. You were going to punish Owen, like Brett said you were going to, for the shit that Brett did, and also because how the fuck is Owen going to be a top star when Stone Cold's a top star, and Stone Cold doesn't want to work with Owen because Owen broke his neck? Like, not necessarily Owen's fault, but it is what it is. He didn't really want to do shit with him because of what happened.
Well, I think what made McMahon the most angry in this episode was the fact that Martha Hart sued them.
Mm-hmm.
They settled out of court with her, which they do a lot.
Yes.
Then they found out that it was a manufacturing issue, and that they knew, and they sued the manufacturer and won. So Vince was more pissed off that he wasted money settling a lawsuit with Martha Hart than anything else, I think, in the whole fucking episode.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you even had Bret Hart saying that, it's hard for him to sort of reconcile with the idea, but he does believe, and he said in his heart of hearts that like it wasn't necessarily Vince's fault. He's like, yeah, I'm mad at Vince for plenty of other shit, but I don't think Vince intentionally tried to kill him.
No, he definitely believed it was an accident. I think he does. I don't know. He seemed like he definitely put it aside and noted it was an accident. But I thought it was just. I just thought watching some of the Attitude Era stuff was great. It's always good memories for me to watch that. I mean, this is where I kind of got back into watching wrestling. I wasn't watching much before the Attitude Era took off. Stone Cold and Vince, that little feud is what got me back watching wrestling again at that time.
Right on.
So, anything more on this one? We got 2 more to go, and we're already, my God, how long have we been doing this? Oh, only 2 away. Well, these last 2 episodes aren't very talky, very meaty. But this one was called Family Business, folks. And literally this talked a lot about exactly that. It had a lot of Vince, a lot of Shane, a lot of Stephanie. And again, and a lot of Triple H. And a lot of Triple H. Now, what I found strange in this 5th episode, and I even had a message, Smark, is they're talking about in this episode how Stephanie and Triple H got together and how they met and how their relationship just kind of grew over the years. And the more and more they kept talking about how, my dad would joke with me about, you need a guy just like Triple H. Shane would say it too. It's like, this is almost coming off like this was a fucking arranged marriage.
Well, no, Shane didn't say it. Shane was against it. They mentioned that. Shane was very much against it.
You're right. Shane
he was like,
you're right.
Dad, you want her to marry a wrestler? And he's like, Shane, that's what I am. I'm a wrestler.
Well,
like, yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Meanwhile, I don't know, man. It literally came off like this was a fucking. The longer they kept talking about it, it's like this was an arranged marriage.
It certainly seemed like it. Because it'd be one thing to be, and it was like it went against everything that we were like told before. Because like before, it just seemed like okay, they were working together and they discovered that they had a chemistry, and so like that shit happens all the time in movies and wrestling, whatever. You pair two people up and then suddenly boom. But I think also that also can kind of lend itself to the theory, not really theory, but the idea that it was like he was trying to arrange a marriage because like Vince, I feel like Vince is smart enough to know if you put two people together, there's a chance that that's how they end up. So it's like, yeah, it did seem like he was really, really, really trying to make that happen, and that seemed so weird that like you're so invested with who your daughter ends up marrying.
Yeah, and I don't know. It just seemed very odd, but this episode, if you want to break it down very short, if you had me break down this episode in one sentence. This is why Shane didn't get the company.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they said that Shane thought that he was going to take over the business. Shane wanted to take over the business. Vince didn't want to give him the business because he didn't like his ideas. And I think also they floated the idea. That was Tony Atlas saying that, but I don't know if Vince echoes the sentiment that Shane's too nice. Which like, that all goes back to like the underlining thing is that this was made to talk about Vince, and this was made to like shine a light on some of the things that Vince did. But the unintentional side effect to this is also that it is just half of it is the Shane McMahon documentary. It's like half of it is just like why everyone loves Shane and not the rest of it.
Yeah, it really was. It was it this episode was this is why we all love Shane because no one and it's funny we were just talking about this last week. How we've never heard anyone say anything bad about Shane. And again, not one word said on this episode bad about Shane. So, and Shane came off, if you go through all these episodes, Shane came off as such a genuine person, a good person who just wanted to do what was best for his family, Vince included. But Vince just didn't like his ideas. But this whole episode can be broke down, and this is why Shane did not get the company. And kind of why Shane left the company, which I still don't believe a lot of what they said on that. Again, go back to episode 1. We're not going to get the whole enchilada from any of the people on this show.
Well, the first, because I mean, the first time he left, they talked about that. Because they're basically like Shane had this idea that he really believed in. Heyman had this whole story about how Shane had this idea that he was really passionate in. Vince didn't want to do it, and he fucking like straight up handed him a knife. He's like, "It's not happening all my life, Bill. Like, if you want this fucking idea to happen, you're gonna have to stab me in the chest." And like, I don't know if that's necessary. I don't think it was implied that like he had left immediately afterwards. But they did literally have Shane say, "It was like I didn't like the direction this company was going in." And he was like, "You know what? I'm not gonna stay here and watch this fucking company die. I'm leaving. Like, good luck. I'm out."
Yeah. And by the way, Paul Heyman telling that story made it seem like an episode of the fucking Godfather. Not an episode, a like one of the Godfather movies.
It should have been wild if that actually happened, which I have my doubts. But if that actually did happen, and Shane just grabbed the knife and just shanked him and just stared dead in his eyes while it drops, he's like, "Stand back, pal.
Stand back." I know. What if he did? You know, you
that
never
would be
know.
so like I don't know, like I feel like there's a part of me that believes that like they could have maybe just like sold that as being a storyline, like Shane could have gotten away with it, or if he didn't, then like what the fuck happens? Shane's in jail, Vince is dead, like Stephanie, I think does fucking Stephanie take over at that point? Like, was she ready at that time? Like, what the fuck happens to this company if fucking Shane shanks Vince? That would be wild.
Probably. I'm telling you, dude. Stephanie has always been the one that was got to take over this company. Just like I said at the beginning of this whole discussion here, she is her father's daughter. Absolutely, 100%. There is no denying it. She is a McMahon to the end.
and a half,
To the end. She is down for the company. She would burn with this fucking company if she had to. I guarantee it. What else did they?
You know
go
what
through?
you know what it reminds me of real quick is like in some of the modern video games now, like when you play like the games where you have to make moral choices, if you make a bunch of bad moral choices, like your character starts progressively looking more evil. They're like evil eyes and scars and shit. I feel like the more and more like stuff that like Stephanie covered up or lied about or just like bad decisions that she made or decisions that are questionable, the more and more she started to look like Vince. Like that's her punishment now for like bad morality is she just now looks like Vince with tits. Whereas Shane like still looks like Vince, but just looks a little bit more like trustworthy.
Yeah. Not as scummy, but we got to go through the whole XFL thing too, Smark. We got to go through all that. We had Bob Costas on a bunch of these episodes who literally, if you listen to Bob Costas, basically he thinks wrestling is hilarious. Everything about it is funny and ridiculous. He doesn't think it's entertaining. He thinks it's just completely ridiculous and funny. Listen to him. Listen to every time he talks. He mentions how funny or how this, how that, how. Telling you.
Oh no, I agree, but I mean, like at the same time, that's also like part of that is what makes me and a lot of other people enjoy wrestling too. Is like just the idea that there is a lot of like over the top theatrics and shit.
Yeah.
Like I understand where you're coming from, where it could seem at times where he's being a bit condescending. There's like, oh, this shit's like almost on the verge of being like, oh, this shit's fucking stupid. I can see that, but yeah, I think more than anything, it seemed like he genuinely did enjoy like back in the old days. Like the 70s, 80s, whatever, of just like it being kind of over the top and being a little bit like kind of a little hammy. I don't know, I guess lack of a better term. But yeah, it seemed like he actually did enjoy wrestling for a period. And then at some point,
for a period, maybe.
It is also wild to me, since we're talking about the XFL game, Bob Costas, that like I'm not like a super huge fan of his, but like I've watched Real Sports and I've watched him talk, do his pieces and all that kind of stuff. And he's a pretty thoughtful and interesting and insightful guy. But it was just wild to me just to see the point of it where he just finally just broke down and he was like, you know what? Yeah, I thought the XFL sucked. It fucking sucked. It was fucking garbage. And I was just like, wow, Bob Costas dropping F-bombs. Like, my pillar of professionalism just going hard. And also, like, I've seen the footage before, but just cheers to him for, like, Vince is, like, getting in his face and, like, trying to threaten him. And, like, Costas is just smiling at him and, like, not backing down an inch. Because it's like, okay, say what you will. Vince was older or whatever. But, like, Vince is, like, fucking ripped. He's on roids and shit. He's, like, twice the size of Costas. And Costas is staring the motherfucker down. It's like, wow, respect.
There's security behind him, I'm sure. I wouldn't worry about that. But we also got our first interview from the man, Mr. John Cena. And we went through the whole, this is kind of where we got into the ruthless aggression era a little bit also in this one. I believe it was this one, wasn't it? Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This was one of the longest. I think this was like an hour and 7 or 5 minutes. This was one of the longer episodes of this one, but we pretty much got into everything this episode was all about. This one kind of just wrapped up with the headlines regarding the scandal that we were going to get into. They breezed through this whole fucking Janelle Grant scandal. They really didn't mention it at all. Right. But in the next episode, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't remember if it was the beginning of the first episode or the end of the episode we were just talking about. But either way, I think the last thing, like Shane-related thing to talk about was like it genuinely. I did not expect it that it would become so emotional. I didn't expect it would get to me where he was talking. They were talking to him about when he came back, like the second time where he came back in like the late 2000s or whatever, or the late 2010s. Yeah. And he said that he came out and that like he got the biggest ovation he's ever gotten. He said, and like he started talking about it and he started tearing up and he was like, it meant a lot to be able to like get an ovation,
being welcomed back when you're doing something that you love and something that matters so much to you. He was on the verge of tears, and he was talking about how, like coming back and doing the match with the Undertaker and shit, or not even that, but like before that, like the ovation, like he could tell that Vince was proud of him,
Right.
and like it made him very emotional. And he talked about the Undertaker match and how he actually got a hug, and Vince told him he loved him, and he said that happened almost never.
Yeah.
And I just kind of hammered the whole point home, just being like after that, like I wanted to I was hoping that he was going to be on Dynamite. I was like, man, I hope these fucking rumors are true. I want more Shane.
Absolutely.
I felt for the guy. I felt for the poor guy. And that was the only time I think I can't say that I feel sympathy for Vince after everything that he's done. But that was the only time where like it ever sort of you could actually see him as a human being, where it seemed like he was being real. Because he was talking about the whole Shane thing, and he was like, yeah, I told him I loved him. Maybe I didn't tell him I loved him as much as I should have, but my dad never did it to me. And it's like, that's kind of what it is. It's just like, no excuses, but apparently his upbringing wasn't great. His dad didn't really care that much about him or wasn't very affectionate towards him. And that ended up fucking trickling down to how he treated Shane. And you just kind of see how the cycle there works.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was. I mean, all Shane wanted to do was make his father proud. And it took that long. And I don't know. Yeah, we did forget to mention that.
And I think all Vince wanted to do was, I think Vince just wanted to make his dad proud too. So it was this whole thing of just like trying to, make dad happy.
Well, he even said it. The only time his dad ever said he loved him was the day before he died.
Yeah.
So, a lot of sad stuff in this, but and this was another confusing one, where Vince is sitting there and he's like, oh, I've got like 2 computers in my head or 3, and sometimes they're working against me and I don't know what to say. And, my God, Vince, this was the worst episode for Vince because number 1, they did this. Number 2, they decided to bring all the Donald Trump stuff into this, where he brought in Trump. And it's like, oh my God, you just want people to crucify this man at this point.
Well, it's funny because he was like, the 2 computers thing is fucking crazy.
What
like
the
fuck? And you started saying it like a little bit, like I was getting a little bit of like a Nicolas Cage vibe. Of just like that seemed like something that Nicolas Cage's character would say in like a fucking crazy ass movie. Just like, it was so wild. But then they asked him, it was like, all right, so like, if computer 1 is focused on doing this interview, what's computer 2 doing? It's like, oh no, he's having a great time. He's thinking about a lot of wild stuff. A lot of it's sex. He's like, here we go.
Oh,
get ready.
Yep. I was like, oh, buckle up, and then I could have taken the seatbelt off. They could.
Yeah, you can stand up while the plane is in motion. There's
hey, go get a drink, whatever you want to do. This should be a bar, Jesus. But it brought up the whole Donald Trump thing. And this episode definitely had that disclaimer, because this episode actually, a lot of them, there was a lot of praise for Vince on this episode. They also brought up the Benoit thing, which I think we all knew had to be brought up. But they didn't mention, I mean, they glossed over the Benoit thing and made it more about, listen, it is a Vince McMahon documentary. So they breezed past that and immediately brought you right back to the fact that Vince blew up in the limo the week before. And
they were talking about the Benoit thing, and that was, I kind of wish I didn't see a portion of that, because like, that did not reflect well on Stone Cold. Him just being like, you know what, I don't believe CTE is real. It's like, how can you fucking not?
How can you?
It's like
yeah.
Because like even they said, Chris Nowinski was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was surprised because like Vince reached out to me and was like, yeah, like I don't know what they're thinking, how to feel about this, but hey, fucking, we'll give you some money, look into it, get back to us. Like if we can make it safer for our guys, sure, why not? And they asked him, they're like, how much of that was like, did he genuinely care, and how much of that was he just trying to make money? And Nowinski's like, it doesn't matter. Like he's trying to take care of his people,
right?
Whatever. Like the underlining motive is not important, or whatever. And like even you were saying Taker, like even Taker was like, yeah, I was mad because like they took away chair shots, but it's like it was a good idea ultimately. He's just like, yeah, it's good to fucking preserve our health.
Yeah, Yeah, see, that's what I mean about Taker. I mean, we know he was. Oh, at the time I was pissed, but hey, I got older and I realized, wow, I can still do this, and I'm not fucking. My brain doesn't feel like scrambled eggs in the fucking morning. So I thought Chris Nowinski was awesome on this episode.
He framed the Benoit thing interesting because like I don't care. I'm not a Benoit guy. I don't. He did what he did. Fuck him. But like what Nowinski said was interesting was he said that it was basically he just looked at it as it was the CTE. It wasn't him. Like it had already taken him. He was fucking gone. He couldn't make decisions independently anymore at that point.
Yeah, it was wild, man. It was, but Vince said some. This is where Vince started saying some crazy shit in this whole episode, though, was just because it's almost like this, like these were where he started getting on the defensive a little bit with all this stuff going down, which I get.
Yeah.
Oh, and I can't believe we haven't mentioned all these episodes have Dave Meltzer on them. Dave's on all these episodes. Well, I can't believe we haven't mentioned that yet because it really hasn't said anything of value yet. Actually, we did mention it in the first episode.
Yeah, because he basically just shit all over the whole Andre thing, which is funny because I was sitting there wondering. I was like, God bless whoever was tasked with like editing, because it made Meltzer seem coherent. Because like there had to have been about 1 billion ums and you knows, but it actually seemed like he got from point A to point B almost like perfectly.
Yeah. It did. He got through it. They took him out of there. I love Taker talking about the time when his streak was going to end. I just thought that was great just to hear. Again, I love being able to hear Taker tell these stories himself. It's great. It's great.
He said he got a concussion like halfway through the match and he still had like fucking 15 minutes, 20 minutes to go or whatever. And then I think they cut to Vince being like, yeah, no, I don't think he had a concussion. I think he's lying. It's like, why would he?
Oh, my God. Look at his face. Look at his eyes. There was no one home, dude.
And it was entirely easy to believe that Taker would have had a concussion and still work because, A, that's how most people did. And B, he fucking like inadvertently got set on fire and just like breezed through and fucking wrestled an entire like 40-minute match. Like fucking burns all over himself.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, another guy that was on a couple of these episodes was Brian Gerwitz. Forgot to mention that. Who was pretty, I mean, he was one of the, I believe he was one of the writers back in those days for a lot of this stuff. So
he said that he was on the plane the day that they bought WCW. He said it was absolute fucking madness. And I never had FOMO prior to this. I was like, man, I would have loved to have been on the plane. Like that shit had to have been crazy.
Oh my God. Probably jumping up and down. My God, the plane's gonna go down. But and this episode was more about the them going public and all that stuff, which I mean wasn't obviously insane for them, but a great thing. And trying to think what else this episode got into here. He talked more about Shane a lot, Vince, in this episode, taking risks and doing that and doing all that stuff. Shawn Michaels was good on a lot of these episodes also, except he seemed like he just didn't care about anything anymore.
It's probably just his day-to-day life. It was funny because like we were talking about Shane the week before, I think, when we were talking about the Shane Kurt thing. And I had jokingly said that he like called Kurt a pussy. He'd be like, throw me harder, you fucking pussy. Shane basically confirmed that because he said that he called him a wuss. But it's like, no, you called him you either called him a bitch or you called him a pussy. You just don't want to straight up say that. Like, we know what happened because he said he called him he said, throw me harder, you Olympic wuss.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah. Story confirmed. Shane like basically called him a bitch so that Kurt would throw him harder. God bless that man.
Good God, that fucking whole King of the Ring thing was hard to watch again, knowing what we know now. But basically, we start getting the episode starts wrapping up, and once it starts wrapping up, we start getting these stories about the 12 million hush money and the settlements for over 7.5 million to
This was framed so perfectly because they cut to they talk about Vince saying
right
that when you retire, you die. So if you want to retire, you might as well just fucking drop
Go
dead.
die.
And they start asking everyone, like, what do you think it's going to take for Vince to retire? And I think it was like Booker T said like a fucking nuclear explosion. And it was wild because it was just like all this compilation of just like, it'll never happen. I don't think it'll ever happen. It'll be fucking, the world's going to have to end before it happens. It's like, well, being from the future. And then they immediately cut to like, here it is. Here's the hush money. Here's his resignation of the shit.
Yeah. And exactly. And, we go through and, oh yeah, and Hulk Hogan's business would never survive without a Vince McMahon. It's actually doing fucking very well. Now it talks about Vince leaving the first time, and then coming back, selling the company, leaving again. It gets into all this, but it really does not. This does not get really into a lot of the Janelle Grant stuff. It was done a long time ago, folks, but they definitely had a few things that they updated for this thing. And they also were talking about, because of the sexual assault, they talked about the Ashley Massaro thing that happened overseas where she accused a person of impersonating a military person and raped her. Yeah.
A military doctor.
A military doctor. Thank you. Exactly. So, they went through a lot of stuff on this, and what else? Because after, basically, they didn't go over what everybody thought they were. I mean, that's pretty much the end of it, folks. They didn't get into what you thought they were going to. This was not the hit piece everybody thought it was. But I guess after all this whole thing went down, Smart, and like I said, a lot of this stuff was people like us already knew, but a lot of other people aren't going to know. Yeah. Whether they believe it or not, it doesn't matter. It was done well. It was put together well. It was a good little docuseries.
Right.
Take what I already knew out of it. It was a well put together docuseries, well made, well produced.
I actually think, knowing what I know now, based on like watching this, that it was actually, because before the feeling that I kind of got was just the idea of like, okay, yeah, Vince had to step down, Vince had to retire, Vince isn't in charge anymore. He still has a giant fucking pile of money. Like, this isn't a happy ending. Don't get it wrong.
Right.
But then watching that and like realizing how important it is for him to be in charge and to have control over people and to basically get the respect from his subordinates that he didn't get from his father.
Yeah.
It makes me realize that I can't speak for him. I don't know what he's thinking, but if I had to guess, like, honestly, I do kind of feel like it's probably eating him up inside that he was forced to retire and that he doesn't have control anymore. Like, I feel like he'd be willing to trade at least half of that money, if not more, for power again.
Oh, I wish to God they were able to get him back on for new interviews, but there's no way he would do it at this point. I guarantee that.
Never gonna happen. He switched like PR people, consultants or whatever.
Yeah.
He switched his PR team right before the documentary came out. And then like he put out this whole statement of like how he was like lied to and deceived and how this was all just a fucking smear piece and a gotcha, like journalism type bullshit. And it was funny because he inadvertently sold the documentary way more. Because like once I heard that Vince hated it and thought that it was just like a hit piece, I was like, okay, well, like fucking let's lock in. I can't
do this.
Yeah.
But and you got to remember, folks, this Janelle Grant thing is an ongoing investigation, so we cannot know what's not already public. That is another reason why you are not going to know anything until this goes to trial. If it goes to trial, you're not going to know anything because they can't talk about an ongoing investigation. So they weren't going to give you this in-depth look at the Janelle Grant stuff. It just was not going to fucking happen. You can't do that right now. They may do in episode 7 and 8. You never know. They may update this little thing eventually. That's the good thing about a docuseries. You can just tack on episodes. They may,
Well,
but I don't think
as
they
it
will.
stands, this is all of it for now. Yeah, they said they have enough material to make like 12 parts, 20 parts, or something like that. But I think that's probably because they said they have a fucking 100-hour interview, 100 hours of interviews. So it's like they have way more that they left on the cutting room floor. I wouldn't be surprised if the whole Vince Janelle Grant thing becomes a document. Maybe not by those guys, and maybe not on Netflix, but I wouldn't be surprised if that becomes a documentary in and of itself. Because there's so much more to go with this shit.
It probably will. And obviously after this whole thing came out, Smark, you sent me a little thing that her lawyer put out. Janelle Grant's lawyer put out a little statement. Want me to read it, or you want to read it?
Sure, you can read it.
I got it right here. I didn't think you had it pulled up. Her attorney put out a statement. Yeah, I knew that. Her attorney put out a statement. Janelle Grant's attorney put out a statement. Ann Callis is her name. And she says, the Mr. McMahon docuseries makes it clear there is no difference between Vince McMahon's on-air persona and his true self. They are one and the same. His character, known for violent outbursts and sexual deviance and manipulation, is the real Vince McMahon, and exactly what Janelle Grant experienced behind closed doors at WWE for years. While the docuseries put McMahon's obsession with power and control on full display, it only scratches the surface of his criminal behavior, and it fails to tell the story of his abuse, sexual assault, and human trafficking of Miss Grant. She deserves the opportunity to tell her story on her own time and in her own way. We look forward to her day in court and seeing McMahon at last held accountable for his actions. So there you go. That is it.
I think that you're talking about the potential, and like, who knows? You know, maybe they settle, maybe they don't. But it seems like she wants to come for his head, and I'm not saying like rightfully so. You know, if it ends up being true, and it definitely seems like a lot of it is true. I you know, good luck. I hope the fucking justice is served like that. Like, who knows? You never know. It might end up just still being a settlement. But yeah, she seems like she's definitely coming for that end. This is interesting though. Like, as the last thing that I thought about is just like, you know, we were talking about it. You have to play yourself, but turned up to 10, turned up to 11, whatever. The character. That was the whole story of the Vince McMahon thing, Mr. McMahon, the documentary. I wonder, like, how often is it that wrestlers like spend so much time like just sort of like almost like saying mantras to themselves, getting themselves to, you know, like believe in their characters to the point where like how often does it end up happening where like that ends up becoming who they are in real life? Like, how often does that end up, you know, the character takes hold of them? Like, Vince is accountable for the shit Vince did. Vince should be punished, but whatever. You know, that kind of, I'm not saying they shouldn't, but like, I do wonder how often it is like if you just spend so much time trying to sell your bullshit that you end up becoming what it is that you're trying to sell.
So you're asking how many more people are Ric Flair?
I mean, basically, yeah, Ric Flair's a perfect example.
I mean, think about it. Ric Flair is not his character anymore. Ric Flair is Ric Flair. Ric Flair is his character.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it was just interesting, the idea of just like, how easy is it for like you stare at the abyss long enough and you become the abyss? You know, the abyss stares back into you, that kind of shit. Where it's just like the character just ends up taking over somebody's life. It's like, this is interesting to think about.
I feel like I'm more Joseph Parks than Abyss.
True. True.
Good 80s movie, The Abyss, by the way. Good 80s movie. Long, but good. Good. So, man, Smark, we've been going for almost 2 hours and 40 minutes here. I think it's probably time to wrap this up, but I'm glad we got to talk about that. I'm glad that documentary came out. I thought it was as I said, take what we already knew out of it, look at it from a standing point of Joe Schmo who doesn't fucking watch wrestling and dig through the dirt sheets and knows everything. This should be a good documentary to anyone else out there, I believe.
I am very curious to see the kind of traction it gains because, like, yeah, okay, the hardcore wrestling fans are going to watch it, especially like within the first day or two.
Yeah,
it's within the next week or two that we see like what kind of traction it gains, whether or not it becomes like a situation like the Tiger King or something like that. Because like the Tiger King guy was worked on this documentary, so it's gonna be interesting to see like if it ends up gaining traction in the mainstream outside of just the hardcore wrestling fans. It's always hard to tell because like they had the Teddy Hart one on Peacock. And like, I swear, I really thought that was going to fucking be huge. I was like, they're gonna see Teddy Hart. It's like everyone's gonna be talking about this shit. This shit's gonna be viral big time. It wasn't. Like I loved it, but it wasn't. So it's gonna be interesting to see if this ends up gaining traction, how much traction it does gain.
We'll see. I don't know. I mean, the things you think that will gain traction just don't seem to do it, but we'll definitely see, man. Wow. After all that, Smark, you know what we need? We need tits. Tits.
Right.
Tell me about some tits.
If you're not tired of hearing me run my fucking cocksucker for 3 hours, you'll have another opportunity to do it Monday, 8:30 p.m. Totally Inappropriate Team Sports Tits is what it is. I am already we're in week 3 and I'm already just tired of the NFL season. My team's fucking 1 and 2. Everything's going bad. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the week in NFL, the week in NCAA college football. And probably do some other shit. I like to clown around. So go ahead and join us. Mondays, 8:30.
There you go, folks. Don't forget about that on Mondays. I will be around on Hollywood Hangout this Saturday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I do not know what I'm doing yet. Last week I did Captain Phillips Mark, and I got finished with it. And luckily I had recorded it for YouTube because I forgot to hit connect on Mixler. I hit record, but I forgot to connect. But it is up. You can listen to the Captain Phillips review. Great movie. Not a long review. I've kind of switched up the format a little bit, so I'm not doing scene by scene anymore, but more giving you guys facts about the movies, fact, fiction, stuff like that. So I'll be back this Saturday night, like I said, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right there on Mixler. And I think I'm going to go ahead and try to go live on YouTube also. So we'll see what happens with that. But like I said, since I changed to Streamlabs, it seemed like we've had a lot better. Like we're not cutting off as much. I think OBS is just ridiculously taking up space on computers. So I deleted that and got Streamlabs instead. So we'll be back. I'll be back with that. We will be back next week, obviously, right here on Wrestling Outlet. Be back here, same thing, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, rocking and fucking rolling. And there you go, folks. Smark, good time, good time.
Yes, sir.
I can't believe I got through that fucking whole 6 episodes last night. But anyway, folks, thank you guys. Anyone who listened to this whole show. I know a lot of people are probably going to cut out, but if they haven't seen the Vince documentary, y'all are going to cut out way before. I appreciate you listening to that also. And we will see you guys next time.